picking me up. Isn't that nice? Da, 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 da. That is now working. Can anyone say anything in Discord?
Hi.
Success.
I can know terrorism.
Okay, OBS has been told how to listen to me, and as I was saying, we're back in Trismere, in the small city of Almirage. It's somewhere between a small city and a large town, bit of a tourist destination, and while a good portion of the party were sort of getting wrapped up in the destination front, enjoying the dancers on the lake, the light reflected from towers that's like spotlights these dancers as night falls, sat out enjoying a drink. Our two nobles, Clara kind of pulled by the idea of just taking a walk, and Caliban pulled by the idea of following Cerberus and trying to slip it more fish, I think. Ended up chancing upon the old ruins of the settlement that Almirage has sort of built, connected to. Like, the ruins just kind of sit within the city walls, up against the western walls, if I remember correctly. Within, you guys found a set of individuals wearing black dog masks that essentially are worn to make a sort of point about the fact that people of Trismere are willingly becoming obedient animals from the point of view of these individuals, leading them to be ostracized, and they're currently being rounded up. With some quick thinking, you guys essentially politically, like, positionally overpowered the guards here to do what you would like, and it was at that point the carriage rolled up of one Vivian Colum, a baroness of the area. As she steps off of the carriage, she looks across the group of you stood in like an approximate sort of cluster of one another, and she sees the guards moving into the ruins. Her eyes drift across you all, and as she does so, her hair shifts into a sort of seething red color, a sort of like deeper crimson as it turns from a slightly more platinumy grey color. It seems to shimmer and shift in the light. Before she can speak, is there anything any of you would like to do? This carriage has kind of blocked the road. It's absolutely massive, that kind of leads in the direction you guys originally came from. And to the left and the right of you are ways you can go, because there's that little bit of no man's land separation of the ruins. So there's some directions you can kind of shift, but the main route back is blocked by her and the carriage itself at present. Is there anything you want to look at or do before she says anything?
Adhere's eyes are gonna flick to the side, glancing over at Caliban in a silent message of, great, now I have to deal with the consequences.
Differ somewhat to the back and to the side, as you would not have been front and center while anyone was speaking with the gods, would just look at this situation and then just silently, pleadingly look at the sky and be like, "Oh my God, get us out of here!"
just a quiet prayer to the stars in the sky. Yep. Anyone else? No. Oh, were you saying something, Caliban?
No, I was just. Oh.
He said Caliban.
Oh no, I was going to say I was just trying to decide if there was anything I could figure out from here, but nope. Caliban, sorry.
He is just awaiting what she is going to do.
She goes to speak, and at that point, you see a couple of other figures shifting around in the carriage. At which point she, like, gets interrupted in the middle of what she's about to say, as whoever's in this carriage seems to be of more importance to her than what is in front of her. She turns and she looks into the dark. Clara, give me a wisdom saving throw.
I,
Oh, hate that.
There's a there's like a pain in the back of your head, and it feels like, you know, like a tension headache where sometimes it sort of like radiates from like the neck up the back of your skull, but it's more focused
Oh boy,
than
do
that.
I know.
It's like two singular points, and those kind of headaches where it's more like, it feels like something like a sharp object has been put through your eye, so it's kind of in the back of your skull that way. This pain is starting to push through from the opposite side, and it seems to be moving towards your eyes. But in the moment, Clara, you're like, you can feel this pain, but at the same time you're able to sort of push it down a little bit. It isn't completely overwhelming, but it's there, and it's starting to make its way forward to the front of your skull from behind. At this point, two other individuals seem to exit the carriage. One, Caliban, you recognize immediately. This is an individual of the Von Styx family, kind of second to your family, but maybe not for long. He is a little older than you, but you do have memories of, like, being sent to play at Lysander's house, like going to visit him as a child. Your parents would have wanted the two of you to spend time with one another. He's maybe like 3 years older than you, wearing black leather, that's kind of like a waistcoat mixed with a long sort of trench coat kind of thing with the buttons that pull it tight. Everything's very tight and form-fitting. Wearing gloves. The only skin that's visible is the face, as like there's like fabric that goes all the way up the neck, this leather covering. Very long, kind of like Sephiroth-y hair, but it's jet black. It like falls long past his face and goes all the way down towards his waistline. And in the starlight, there's something about his eyes and that hair that seems to catch that starlight and reflect it perfectly, almost looking like the stars are like reflected in his eyes and hair. He is smiling in a way you have come to recognize, Caliban, and that is the smile of an individual who's just about to win the game. He's got this small smirk on his face as he looks at you. Lysander. The other individual who gets off of the carriage, Clara, you recognize. This is a man who has, for as long as you have known him, been in the Rangers, one of the Rangers' leaders, in fact. You almost don't recognize him through the kind of stabbing pain in the back of your head, and the fact that he is, for the very first time in your life, wearing finery. This is a man who usually wears, like, camo-colored leathers and things like that, but here he is in, like, half plate with furs from animals that you recognize from the forest, deep red hair, beard, older gentleman. He's one of the people that would have trained Tommen how to fight. He wouldn't have trained you, but Tommen and him would have known each other quite well, and probably Connor as well would know this individual. Give me 1 second. This is Rhys Llewellyn. He Is there any sort of symbol that is worn by someone with the deluxe prefix in Heaven's Pillars? Like any sort of denoting marker or something like that, a symbol?
I'm going to be ridiculous here. I'm going to say a daffodil.
In which case, his name previously not adorned with this prefix, he is adorned with the daffodil in this moment as he steps out of this carriage, like a big metal-pressed daffodil on the upper corner of his plate mail. It's Lysander von Styx. Sorry, no, what? Reese Llewellyn. Not Von Fordis. You're confusing me in the corner there, Dayfra. These three individuals arrayed in front of you are new nobility of Heaven's Pillar, old nobility of Empress City, and a powerful baroness of the very city that you stand in. It is Lysander who speaks first and says to you, Caliban, you're looking well these days.
Lysander, you haven't changed a bit.
I'm a little taller, Caliban. Clara, if Reese recognizes you, he's not showing it in his eyes. He's just looking across the group slowly. Vivian, hearing the exchange between the two of you, says, Caliban von Halig, I presume then.
The honor is all mine.
She gives a small curtsy and says, Baroness Vivian Colloon. She looks at the activity in the ruins behind and says, I was about to ask under whose authority my men are acting, but perhaps I have my answer now. Of the House von Halig has something to do with this?
Oh, I was just stopping by on an assignment, and I happened upon a chance bit of the common folk. Not very, quite famished they were.
Some people just don't know how to accept help. She looks at the ruins and says, and what have you decided in House von Halig's good name was the correct course of action to deal with the situation? I see...
For them to accept my help.
She looks at you and says, what charity have you bestowed?
The right to leave.
Lysander chuckles and says, Caliban, I know your family has always enjoyed a great deal of control over many situations, but these people are under the jurisdiction of this good lady here. I assure you, Viv has a good heart. She bristles a little at him, addressing her kind of so casually, but doesn't reprimand him for it at the same time.
Perhaps we can get some of the rabble here and speak for either of our cases. Let's see how it sways.
Vivian shakes her head and says, as much as I wanted to speak to them, they all proclaim there is no leader amongst them. I cannot speak to the opinions of 70 individuals. But do you say that you speak for them? Uther, do you have the dog mask clipped to your belt anywhere or anything like that?
I think Uther would have just been in street clothes on this one, so no.
No.
All his major stuff is on the train.
Uther, I'll say this. this Reese fellow, the tall, sort of ginger-haired, very military cut-looking man right now, his hair's been trimmed down to perfection, gives you, like, big your uncle vibes. Like, he has very similar energy coming off of him as he stood there next to her. He hasn't said anything yet, but his attention has drifted around not just you guys as a group, but the area, everything. He's the kind of person that wants to know everything going on in a situation and doesn't need to use words to kind of find it out. As his eyes drift around, you would notice Uther.
So he's a problem. Got it.
Vivian says, I had already planned on dealing with this situation. I have a course of action in mind. What would your course of action be? Where would you send these individuals?
They simply wish to leave. Where they went, they would not tell us, nor was it my business.
Caliban, it's not a solution. That's simply kicking a can down the road, isn't it?
It was their solution.
I was going to invite them all to discuss this privately until they could see sense in a compromise. Otherwise, well, there are certain places that dangers to society can be placed until they decide otherwise.
See sense and compromise. What methods did you have in mind?
Perhaps removing the mask. No longer spreading ill will amongst the people that just want to live happy lives. Clark.
Then I suppose I was coming to my own solution. They wish to be happy, and these people wish to leave.
Clark, give me another wisdom save. 22. As the pain pushes forward and it reaches your eyes, you can almost feel this, like, tube from the back of your eyes to the front that's pushed through this, almost at the center of your iris. There's this, like, sharp pain, like getting your ear pierced, but you feel it through the ball of your eye. There's no blood, no swimming vision, no sharp light or anything like that. But as it settles, you see another couple of things in this situation in front of you. On Reese's shoulder sits a 3-inch tall woman with butterfly wings. She is adorned in a dress of daffodil flowers and seems to be, like, pinned together with small splinters of wood from the tall Heaven's Pillar trees. And she is whispering quietly in his ear. You also notice in the carriage there is a absolutely massive working dog, like a big shaggy black dog that looks like it's probably like a shepherding dog, but the kind of dog that would be shepherding to fight wolves and keep the flock safe. And its attention is on Vivian, and it's just sat in the carriage watching her.
I want to try and lock eyes with the little fey creature, I assume it is.
Mm-hmm. As you look at it, and it's like whispering and looking around, its eyes do lock on you, and the two of you share a moment of like, oh, you see me. And it gives a small curtsy atop his shoulder to you.
I will, as subtly as I can, sort of nod my head towards it.
Reese says, for the first time speaking out, All these banded words and niceties. I think that we all agree we have a crossed path here. And our stations seem somewhat evenly matched. Perhaps there is a more older, simple way to resolve this. He puts a hand on Lysander's shoulder and says, you are a good shot, are you not, Lysander? He nods and says, my family is quite talented with a bow. And then he looks to you, Clara, and says, and I see a hunter among those who stand here. Talented with a bow, no doubt, yes?
I'd like to think so, but you didn't train me, Sir Llewellyn.
He nods his head and says, I have been elevated since last we spoke, Clara. It is painful to see you, but good nonetheless.
More painful that you didn't start with a hello. Congratulations, though.
Situations were tense. I'm trying to find a good moment to speak. But it would seem that Vivian here wishes to take these individuals and do as she wishes with them, and your group has a similar stake. Why don't we place it on competition? Best shot wins.
Seems an odd way to decide fates, but at least it's a solution.
Any objections? Lysander's too eager to say yes for Vivian to voice any concern she has as he steps forward and smiles and says, always happy for a friendly competition. Caliban knows that.
Adhira is staying back and slowly worming her way back into, like, obscurity. Sort of looking over all of them, what is the most expensive or interesting item or article that I can see?
Give me an investigation check. Obviously, their clothing that they are wearing is intricate and beautiful and valuable. I mean, Reese's outfit is partially like a full suit of plate mail at this point. Like, the breastplate is there, some of the arms there, but it's just like gapped by furs and other fabulous fabrics. As you're looking at this, there's something else that catches your attention, because Lysander steps forward and he takes his finger and thumb as if he was about to, like, pinch someone. And as he does, one of the street torches goes out and it coalesces into an object that he's suddenly holding, which seems to be the end of a bow, that is just midnight black and shadowy as he takes it in his hand and pulls the string and tests it a little. Caliban, you recognize immediately this is an Archangel's weapon, the treasure of his family.
Now that just doesn't seem fair.
He smiles at you, Caliban, and in this moment you see the eyes of someone who knows you don't have yours.
I don't need it.
But he walks past you, Caliban, walking towards Clara, but his eyes are on yours until he gets past you. He bows slightly and he says, as I am to understand it, you are someone with station in your homeland. Clara, yes?
You have me at a disadvantage, sir.
Lysander, Von Styx. He takes one knee, takes your hand and presses his forehead to the back, like, to the back of your hand, basically.
It's okay, sir. Please rise. Such Niceties are unnecessary.
He smiles at you and says, Reese speaks well of your talent, or at least he knew enough to mention it. I'm excited.
He trained my brother and my noble guard. I rather think he's hoping that some of the talent runs in the family. Different talent. My brother was always a dab hand with a sword. As you can see, it's not my particular weapon of choice.
Would you like to use your weapon or mine?
That belongs to your family. And besides, it wouldn't be at all weighted the way that I'm used to. I'll stick to my own. Thank you.
Families are malleable. For all you know, we well could be family members one day.
That would... Clara's gonna turn around. I rather think my fiancé might have something to say about that.
He turns his attention towards you, Caliban, and then back to Clara. He says, I see. Clara, give me an insight check.
Oh, my favorite button.
23.
Ooh. You have only made yourself more attractive to this man.
Wow, this is wins all round for me.
He's literally me.
I love how Clara is attracting all the people she hates.
Give me 1 second, because I think I can give you... yes. This is... Ooh, is that coming up? There we go.
Caliban to Lysander, don't trip.
Oh, that definitely has some inspiration right there.
That's Reese.
She want to sick the frog on him?
I'd like to point out that I swear there is also a Lysander von Fjordis.
There could well be. Nobles tend to steal each other's names.
Yeah, because I think that's Liliana's dad.
You're probably right. The Fjordis
Out of
family...
French names because he refuses to learn French.
Well, the Fjordis family's also from Trismere, so... Although the Lysander isn't, so never mind.
Interesting amulet she has.
Lysander looks around and says, plenty of rats with wings for us to choose as targets. Does that seem fair to you, Clara?
Clara tries her best not to bristle. Birds, I believe they're called, if you're not familiar.
Well, they seem as pests to me, but you probably would know better. Yeah, Clara, I mean, there are pigeons and other creatures about the rooftops at night. I guess the question is, there's no rules set out as of yet, Clara. I don't know whether you want to ask about that, or whether you'd like to set some, or...
I'm gonna worm my way into the closest thing I can get to cheating here. Clara's gonna turn around. Is it okay if I set them into flight?
Please. As you wish.
She's gonna whistle to Cerberus, and because I have a telepathic connection with him, I'm gonna get him to startle them and try and intuit from the angle he's approaching at where they're going to fly to give myself a better chance.
So. And you can bonus action aim as well, so you've got advantage as well, right, Clara? Like, that's all. Okay. What I'll say is, you can add your proficiency modifier twice to this shot, because you have Cerberus' proficiency modifier as well. So you've got your dex +6 and advantage.
Nice.
Cerberus waits your command. He stands beside you and draws the arrow back, and as he pulls the string, the lights in the street seem to, like, fight to stay alight. All of the torches start to flicker and dim, not quite extinguishing as he holds this bow aloft. On your mark.
Not gonna lie, I kind of like his weapon.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I will whistle to Severus so he can set them off.
Go ahead and give me an attack roll. You have advantage and you have +6.
So it will just be +3 to whatever this is. Oh, 20.
So 20 in total. Okay. Give me 1 second. 6. Okay.
Just fires a fucking fireball.
On a 22, as he goes to loose, the lights turn out for a second, Clara, and you lose sight of your target, which throws you just a little bit. But you do see that he went for the exact same target as you, and his bolt is like slightly ahead of yours, Clara, at this point. Is there anything you want to do?
Yeah, I would like to activate my hand grip, and I just want to send my arrow like slightly up so it knocks his out of its path.
Your arrow drifts up. You see his like head tilt as he watches it. As your arrow touches his bolt, the back half of your arrow crumbles away, and only the arrowhead continues on and finds its mark as it hits. The rest of your arrow, it doesn't crumble into ash in the growing light. It's just gone, Clara. You see nothing left of like the haft or the feathering of the arrow. It just disappears from existence. He turns to look at you and says, "A trick up your sleeve, was it?"
All you said was that I had to have the more impressive shot.
He smiles. I see why Caliban likes you so much. Vivian is there, kind of like seething. Her hair a deeper red still, verging on like back to black. But
Do I know why that's happening?
Give me an Arcana check.
Is she possessed? 18.
18. Not all gifts of the goddess give you combat utility. Hers is to wear her feelings on her sleeve, as it were.
She's a mood ring.
She has mood ring hair, yeah. Reese claps his hands together and says, "There we have it. The individuals contained within the ruins are yours to do with as you wish. Clara von Halick." Von Halick? Yes, Von Halick to be soon, I suppose.
Thank you. Don't worry, Baroness Coulomb. You'll get what you wanted. You want the people here to live without having a constant reminder of these people's defiance. This will serve just as well. You can frame it however you'd like. If you so desire, we'll escort them out under the gaze of night. You can simply say that they were escorted elsewhere by your men, if you so desire. I'm not looking for any sort of smug clarity here. I just want to solve problems for both the townspeople and the people in the ruins.
Give me a persuasion or performance check, Clara, and this is purely to see if you can calm Vivian or not. What you want will happen, but I want to know how she will remember you from this moment.
Badly.
Hair jet black, practice smile, curtsy, of course. Reese looks at you, Clara, and says, "Do you plan on sending them to our homeland?"
That's a discussion I think is best to have with them. It's certainly somewhere where they would have the opportunity to flourish in the way they desire, but something tells me that's not at all what their intention is.
I'm pretty okay, out of character. I'm pretty sure they said they were nomads, right?
They're nomads kind of by the fact that no place singularly accepts them. So it's, it's not so much like a
Vagrants.
Yeah, that's a way of
My
putting it as
people.
well. Reese pulls up his sleeve a little. Clara, you see there is a triquetra. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it's like the,
triquetra.
yeah. It's like the growl mark you guys have. It looks similar to that. Clara, you would recognize this as something that people who get lost in the woods, who find their way homes and have no memory of how they do so, sometimes have these marks on their arm. His is far more intricate than you've ever seen. It looks to be made of like individual petal pieces that are all woven together. And one of the petals in this moment flares pink and then fades from his arm as the bird you shot with an arrow in the distance suddenly gets up, pulls the arrow free. You watch the wound regenerate and its eyes shift into a pinkish hue. It hops towards the two of you and he puts out a finger to lift it up to you, Clara, and says, "This bird will take any message you might want to arrive quickly to whoever you wish it to, should you want to give any forewarning to anyone about what is to come next."
Is this a... She's gonna switch to Katavon to not directly out him.
Mm-hmm.
Is that where your little friend is from?
He simply nods and says, responding in your native tongue, "A lot of things have changed at home, Clara. What I said is true. It is sad and happy to see you."
Well, if luck would have it, one day I'd like to see those changes for myself. For the good or the bad.
He nods. "It will be good to have you back, and in the council chambers where you belong."
I'm doing okay out here. Although I would love to come back. Maybe one day. It's a bit out of my hands.
He nods, puts a hand out to Severus, who's kind of like padded back over. He looks at you, Clara, with like a "may I" sort of permission to.
Of course.
He pets each of the heads and turns and says, "What a wonderful creature. I'm glad you're making good friends. The others as well." He stands. Very good. Especially the eagle head. He is quite experienced with falconry and things like that, you can sort of tell. He turns towards Vivian and says, "I believe what you wish to show us is no longer going to occur. How about we head back to your estate, my lady?" She nods. As Lysander is leaving, he turns back towards you, Caliban, and says, "We really must see each other more. We haven't played since we were children."
I'll see if we can find the time.
I know you're busy with this new EK thing you're doing. You always did need a shell to go outside, Caliban. At least you're putting that to good use. And he swings his way back.
Touche, Lysander.
Adhere is going to walk up next to Clara and pat her on the shoulder before saying, "Good shot."
Thanks. It was looking a little dicey at the end there. Although I'm a little concerned about what happened to my arrow. I've never seen a weapon like that.
It's one of them noble weapons, I believe.
Well,
Super magic.
okay, when you put it like that, it just sounds ridiculous.
But they are not wrong.
Clara, you watch as the three of them are getting back into the cabin. The dog that had been sat in there hadn't taken its attention off of Vivian this whole time. Give me either animal handling or insight.
Oh, which of these? Oh, they're both the same. Well, this is an animal.
Animal handling 12. What at first you took as like a well-trained, like service guard dog or something like that, this dog is not, Clara. And as they all get onto the carriage, it is clear to you that no one else, including that fairy, knows that dog is there. And as you look around your companions, no one else has acknowledged that the dog is there either. And just as they're closing the doors to the carriage, the dog slips out the gap. It looks around, looks at you briefly, Clara, and you see an intelligence behind its eyes. And then it dashes off into the dark of the street and just sort of disappears.
Not to concern everyone, but I have a very important question that I need to ask right now. Do we think sins could be animals?
Doesn't make particular
Consulting
sense
the
to me.
frog.
Little frog head pops out. What?
Can sins take on the forms of animals or possess animals?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Fiends don't tend to like to. Being an animal is restrictive.
Well, I may have just seen one.
Really?
Its head
There was
swims.
one in the carriage the whole time. I thought it was just a guard dog. It was fixated on that Baroness, but it didn't go with them. It's gone down the street.
I didn't see anything like that, Clara.
I know what I saw. I know what I saw.
She, I guess Adhira knows that Clara is telling the truth.
Should I go get my stuff, or are we good?
I mean,
Well,
it's gone. I wouldn't
Clara-
know which direction it went in other than that way.
Clara
time
said it
now.
took. Did Clara say that it took on the appearance of a dog, or that it was, or did she just ask if it was an animal?
She said guard dog.
Mhm.
Okay. Like, and I point at like well, are there any of the nomads in the vicinity?
Yeah, so some of them are beginning to be led out. They're a little confused. The main guard, the older individual, had been around and observed all that and listened to all of it and wasn't told anything, but fully understands that Clara and Caliban are the ones who are in charge in this moment right now. As he steps forward, he bows incredibly low, having been at adversarial odds with you at the beginning of this, and stands up straight and says, the individuals you requested are ready to be taken as you wish to wherever you wish. And they are all wearing the black dog masks, yeah.
Do the masks look like okay, so Caliban is gonna like look at them, gesture to the masks, and look at Clara and said, "Did they look like that?"
Did they look like that?
Give me another animal
Or just
handling
in the
check.
sense that, like, it was a dog and these are dog masks?
Yeah, give me another animal handling check in this moment, Clara.
Much better.
24. It's not perfectly the same, Clara, but there are some features that are similar. On a 24, Clara, some of the things that you would say are different are hard for an artist to replicate. Like the shagginess of the dog isn't an easy thing to do in a mask form, Clara, for example. So it's a decent approximation with some oversights, I guess, that you could explain away.
So from what I'm so the way you describe it, like you said it's like a big guard dog.
Mhm.
Well, looking like a guard dog. And when I think of a guard dog, I don't think of something that's shaggy. I think of something like a Doberman. And so I imagine like the dog masks to be like a little bit more pointy.
Uh, the dog that I'm imagining, the one that Clara saw, is kind of like in the Irish Wolfhound sort of like that sort of like shaggy but like big working dog that would have fought like wolves or something like that.
Yeah, gotcha.
The masks themselves are probably closer in approximation to like something that's more Labradorish. But if you were to add more ruffleness to the Labrador, it like very quickly kind of gets to where you're going, right? Like that's the difference that we're kind of looking at.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the guard kind of comes over and says, to where are these individuals to be taken, my lord and lady?
I look to the
I'm
nomads
gonna
and
have to try and find Big Dog.
Mm-hmm.
For lack of a better
Wait,
way.
sorry, do you mean the thing that ran into the streets or the person you talked to
No,
before?
the guy, like
Yeah.
the main guy.
Clara, as you move closer trying to pick them out, one person kind of pushes himself closer to the front and sees you and says, what is the meaning of this,
Well, you said you weren't allowed to leave, so we're leaving.
The eyes go wider behind the mask a little, looks around and says, who are you? Who are you that you have done this? I am confused.
For now, you just need to know that my name is Clara, and I'm a friend. You do no service to your cause or these people being stuck here in squalor. There are places you can go. I, at one point, was the heiress to a territory to the north. If you so desire, there are places there that would welcome you. If you choose to go somewhere else, I understand, but this is your chance. I cannot promise you will receive such help next time you need it.
He considers your words carefully and says, my people will want to vote. We must discuss it amongst ourselves, but we can do so beyond the city walls. Is that...
That seems reasonable. Gather what you can't bear to part with, and anything that can be packed up easily. I, at least, in my companion, she indicates to the Chimera, we can help you carry some, if you have people who can't carry their own.
He nods. They load, like, a few things onto the back of Cerberus. A few other people are, like, given bags of, like, pots and pans and things to carry for those who just don't have the strength to do so. The guard captain takes you to like one of the southern gates to avoid this procession moving through most of the streets, and then like once you're outside of the city, skims the walls basically. As you're walking, you hear the people talking, and they discuss what to do as equals, and the overwhelming voice seems to be that perhaps we are to take this kindness as a sign and take what has been offered and see where it leads. What harm could it be that we end up in another situation like we are in? And yeah, so basically by the time you guys get around to the train station side, Clara, that individual kind of comes with you and says, my people, they, if this kindness is something you offer, then its kindness is something we would take.
I see. Right. Bear with me one moment. I'm gonna turn to Reese's bird and give it a message to, I guess, like the border guards.
Mhm.
That this message comes from me, Clara, through Reese's falcon. That these people are to be, I suppose, allowed passage, and if we have spare land or places that we can shelter them and offer them work, then that should, as much as they can, to action that.
Once you finish talking, a small handwritten note in Reese's like penmanship appears tied to the leg of the bird, and the bird bows to you and flies off towards the northern, like the southern border of your homeland.
Can you trust that thing?
It's the best I can attribute this to is I trust it in the same way that Adhera trusts Terminus. It's a spirit of some sort from my homeland. The fair folk, as we've taken to call them, roam some of the woods in Heaven's Pillars. They play mediocre pranks like curdling milk and helping people get home. He has a tattoo from them, kind of like Caliban and I had from the Graal. So, I trust it.
Alright, fair enough. Now, I see your friends have interesting choices in decoration.
Not sure what you want me to say about that, Uther.
Huh?
Right. Well,
I'll be
this
right
was the
back. You said we were near the train, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, is the plan to have, because the train is heading into Heaven's Pillar, is the plan to have the people boarded on the train and essentially arrive, you know, with the message, having reached hopefully beforehand with the bird flying all night and stuff?
I mean, that would be my personal interpretation of this, like if we have the room.
Yeah, because it's the passenger train section's empty. You guys aren't on it anymore, and there was a second train carriage just for Caliban's mum that is now empty as well. Approaching the train, you see that there are a bunch of engineers on the locomotive section right now, pulling it apart, and you see Dylan there as well with them. As you pass by some of the carriages, Axel, who was like sat leaning back looking through a book of Triton phrases, just like a little like, how do I say hello and things like that, just glancing through it, looks up and sees you guys walking past and like has like a little perplexity, like, oh, what did they forget? And then like a crowd of people start walking past in black dog masks, and he like the frown disappears and it goes back to like a practiced emptiness that he stands up, walks towards the train door, opens it up, wordlessly helps usher people onto the train, and once they get past, looks out at the group of you and says, a quick version.
I didn't
Point
do
to
this.
Caliban.
Dafer walks away notably. Or he tries to at least.
I don't remember anything saying we can't get into trouble. So we got into trouble and we fixed it.
We got into discussion. It wasn't actually trouble.
I got the slap guard.
These individuals are bound for what destination?
They're going to the
Heaven's
outskirts of Heaven's Pillars, so it's along our route.
You know, that's fair enough. I assume. I think I've heard of this group. Those of you proficient in insight, give me an insight check.
Let's see.
22.
Oh, I'm not proficient in insight. Never mind.
Clara, you're probably a little busy talking to Axel in this moment. Adhira, you notice that all of those individuals in Black Dog masks recognize Axel, and on a 22, the dog-like masks that they wear might have more to do with him than anything else in this moment, Adhira. He is a symbol in this place of fear, and that fear needs to be felt by everyone. They sort of
Lord.
they wear his stories as a mask as they walk past. A few of them do recognize him. Axel looks at you, Clara, and says, will your people be accepting of this sudden arrival?
I've sent a message ahead. We have more land than we know what to do with, quite frankly. Settlers from outside are not that common anymore. At least not travelling ones. Incursions of, shall we say, visitors from foreign interested parties is a little bit different than people who genuinely need my country's help. I think there'll be a welcome change.
He nods, says so. Whatever happened, it sounds like it's well thought out enough for me. Very well. How are you all enjoying the city, I suppose?
Well, I was having a good time until somebody stole my scallops, and after that, it was all adventure after that.
There isn't much room
For the
on the
record,
train.
I didn't steal any scallops. That wasn't my fault.
No, I wasn't talking to you. And like very pointedly in the direction of Adhira's lamp. Right?
Terminus gets up onto David's shoulder from behind him and nods and says, Adhira has been a lot to deal with.
I start cursing out the frog and like quick lampshade. The
Terminus,
equivalent of calling him Judas.
Terminus's mouth opens and your voice comes out translated from the frog's throat without his like neck moving. You're like he just like like translates all your swear words back into trade.
I feel
Creative?
Well, that's a useful
Terminus.
That's
Terminus
actually very
has-
useful.
Terminus has the personality of the genie from
Yeah.
Aladdin.
He's
It's
somewhere.
like the genie mixed with Stitch.
Yes, it's somewhere between Stitch and the genie. I agree. Axel says, "I don't think there's much room on the train for you guys to stay the night. It's late, but you might still be able to find a hotel or somewhere to sleep."
Worst case
Yeah.
scenario, I've slept in worse places than on the top of a train.
You have?
No, this place will get us for vagrancy.
Yes.
They can try.
Literally in a cave full of bones that were trying to kill us all.
I liked the cave.
I didn't.
Wow! It was trying to kill us!
The bones were trying to kill us, Clara.
I
I
know,
could
but
know that the bone's trying to kill us.
at least the bones were obvious about it. Nobles just pretend they care.
That lady was a bitch.
I didn't say it.
Hendrik,
Yes.
we've had time. We were browsing for Axel's request. It's safe to say we could have found something.
Yeah. You can hand him a pack of.
Yeah, I am going to hand him a pack of cigarettes as a peace offering for this disaster.
He takes it and nods to you and says, "Can always count on you, Uther."
That was very specific, very notably specific.
Is there
Just
anything
think,
else?
Vapor, we didn't cause this.
Is there anything else you want to do, Uther? Were you looking for the mask?
I'm going to run in the train. I'm going to run into the train and grab my stuff. I am specifically also wanting to try to bump into the gentleman that appears to be the leader of this outfit.
You grab your stuff. Heading through the passenger carriages. They seem to be like distributing the different rooms to like family groups. The person that you've kind of heard speak a few times to Clara is out there. He speaks sort of broken trade. What is it you want to say?
I'm going to like reach into my bag and I'm going to pull out my mask and I'm going to show it to him and ask, "Was this lost?"
Tilts his head at it, looks at it. The mask you have here is like somewhere between dog, wolf, and fox, right? Like it's like a.
Okay, so not exactly one of theirs, but in a similar vein.
He points at it and says, when sleeping, he kind of like pats the side of his head and points to the mask. Says, I have seen this.
If an explanation is too hard, you can write it down. I can translate it.
He writes down like a couple of paragraphs in Triton and hands it over to you.
I thank him, and unless he stops me, I'm going to slip it back into my bag.
No, he's not afraid of what you've just shown him, but there is a level of like being haunted by it in a sense. It's esoteric to him, right?
Gotcha. Fascinating. I'm going to just give him a nod, and I'm going to rejoin the group.
Okay. There are hotels pretty much everywhere in this place. Is there any specific, like, do you want to just look as close to you as possible? It is after dark, but this city doesn't sleep easy. There are still people out in the street enjoying street food and dancers and things like that. The lights are on in most establishments still. You could go further or not. It's up to you.
I think Dafer, being somewhat cost conscious, just would look for a cheap inn that isn't too far away. He wouldn't care too much about quality, just about not getting utterly ripped off.
Give me
Even close is like conflicting statements there, buddy.
Give me an investigation chance. Investigation check at disadvantage.
Okay.
This is not the town. 10?
10.
As you get along the street, you find there is a bit of a midpoint in cost, where like closer to the train is expensive, closer to the lake is expensive, and there's sort of a sweet spot in the middle. You wouldn't call it cheap Dafer, but it isn't as inflated. There is one place in particular by the name of Lone Star Boarding House. It looks to be like a place where there are group rooms and things like that. It's all of a good quality, advertises like free breakfast. There are kind of like hot tub rooms as well, like places you can go to sit in bubbling hot water that's created artificially.
Could you repeat the name, please?
Lone Star Boarding House.
Okay, and that also comes with like breakfast or stuff. Yeah, I point to that. Well, I mean, with the prices we've seen near the train station, this can't possibly be worse. That's about the best I can offer.
I think
to the rest of the group,
for all of you, including Cerberus, it would be 300 gold pieces for the night.
Adhere is going to waive off the price. I think I'm going to walk around. I'll take care of myself. I need to spend some money on me.
That's 60 gold a pop, right?
Not including it here now.
Still, that's still 60
Yes.
gold a pop. Oh my god.
Weren't we given like 1,000?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were given a big
Yeah.
portion of money. I don't know who's holding out how much is left, but
Ed Hero was holding it.
Oh, I hand to the group.
how much is left, Atira?
I don't really think we used that much. How much was the
The
dinner?
dinner was
That's like-
the dinner was like 15 gold each or something like that, if I remember correctly. So
Which
that's-
I paid out of pocket at least.
Oh,
I
in which
didn't
case
touch the money.
all 1,000 is still there then, Atira.
Actual smokes.
True. And did you buy the Whisper conches with your own money as well?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so literally, I think 10 gold pieces is missing. You've got 990 left.
Well, I'm mine from my own stash, but I think then that's one bought from my hero or something. Well, that's like Dafer's innards are bleeding because that is so much money for like a single night.
Mm-hmm.
Should have made reservations in advance.
Atira handing the money across to whoever, Dayfura. You guys stepping inside the establishment. It's a bit of a games room as the first floor. There are people here like playing I forget what it's called. It's like shuffleboard. It's kind of like curling, but it's just on a table where you have to like slide something
Air
across.
hockey?
Yeah, it's kind of like air hockey, but instead of trying to get it into each other's like goals.
Wait. Karab?
I'm not sure. You just slide something across to the other side. You have to try and get it as close to the little marking on it as possible, and then someone else can slide it and knock you off. It is just like curling, but on like a really long table that's polished. There are people in
I
here.
was thinking of a different game.
There are people in here playing dice and cards. There are a few locals drinking. People who look like they might be artisans or otherwise from here. Some of them still wearing like their tannery like leather overalls with the slight smell of chemical on them. But most people don't seem to mind too much. Person at the desk as you approach Dayfur explains, you know, what the cost is and everything. And handing the money over.
So that's for one room for all of us, the 300 gold, right?
Sorry, you guys can share a room if you would like. The price I gave you was for like individual rooms. If you all want to sleep in the same room with beds, it's a little cheaper. It's like 20 gold less each.
That's not a little cheaper, that's like 40%.
It's up to you guys whether you'd like to
pro-
sleep in the same room or not.
I'd propose that because, like, that is so much money. Dave,
Fine.
like,
Like, Clara's not bothered. We slept in a cave all together. Like,
Yeah.
it's not
Bones
gonna
trying to
make...
kill us.
Bones trying to kill us is going to be a
Bones trying to
tagline.
kill us added character.
I think the funniest we made along the way with the Bones trying to kill us. So yeah, that's 40 gold each then, not including Adhera at this point.
which puts it down to 200 gold pieces, I believe.
Dayfer, you're given 2 keys for the room to share between you guys as you want. Says, when you return the key in the morning, that will be how you earn your free breakfast back. Think of it like a deposit type thing. We find we get more keys back that way.
I was about to ask, do people really run off with that many keys?
Yes, it is a problem.
David shakes his head. All right. So, what? I assume somewhere on the first floor then. On the next floor.
The building itself is... The building you're in has multiple floors, and there are wings that come off of the side in like a big C shape. Your room is like in one of the wings, and then in the middle space, kind of encapsulated in this C, is fenced off areas with these outside hot tubs under the stars, which your key will also access the one assigned to your group room. So there is like a group space where you guys can lounge as well.
Dafer is suddenly a whole lot less bothered by the 200 GP. Getting a hot tub in there, like, hot tubs are awesome. I don't think he had the chance to try one yet, but he will. I think Dafer would have taken his, I think, entirely packed bag where all his valuables are in and so on. So he basically stashed that first in our room.
The room is like a series of bunk beds, but I think that technically you guys are enough people that you wouldn't need to share a bunk bed. There's just bunk beds in here in case like a group of 16 want to sleep in here. You know, like it's packed as much people as possible in as you can. There are little notices on paper boards up about things that are going to be happening in the area. Little festivals and things like that, but you guys aren't going to be here long enough for any of that to really matter. You guys can pack your stuff away and do as you'd like for the evening. I think my question in this moment is, Adhira, you've peeled off away from this inn. What is it you're off to do?
Keep yourself busy. The same meditative process of watching people go about, even as it gets quite late. I think she'll find a way up onto like lower roofs or some upper part of the city where she can watch, and she'll just walk with her thoughts.
Give me a perception check. As you walk the rooftops, you start to feel the like residual heat from the sun shining on the stonework begins to peel away, and there's that kind of cold that reminds you of nights at home when the heat's all gone, the sun's not there anymore. It can get pretty cold pretty fast. You at this point you start to see people peeling off of the roads, heading home. Not every place closes because there are fire pits and things like that. Some people artificially extend their night far into the witching hours and beyond. I think on a 14, you start to notice the Kaloum symbol around quite a lot. Many of the guards wear this symbol. Not every single one of them, you noticed it here. It's almost like the policing force here is like split between the barons that are important in the area, basically. Like maybe she has 1/4 of the standing guard here in the city, you would say. Is there anything more you're particularly looking for? And what's your ultimate destination, Atira?
Probably the town center, the place where I had like all the kids playing in the Sword in the Stone. Are these anti-homeless benches?
No, there wouldn't be. Most of the benches do have plaques and like which noble house, which noble lord donated it. Most of these benches are advertisements for how charitable noble people are. Atira is what you're looking at.
Awesome. Then a noble house is about to supply me my resting place for the night. I will lay down on a bench and send myself to sleep. I will go into spirit form for a bit to sort of watch over myself, and I know that if things got bad all of a sudden, my spirit would wake me up. But yeah, I'm taking it old.
Alright, so which one of us is collecting Adhira?
Give me an Arcana check. 23. the moment you slip into spirit form, you immediately realize the sword in that stone is invariably a legitimate artifact.
Arc flare of light as I slip into the ethereal.
It's not quite that, but the stone the sword is embedded into is not rock. It appears to be a hurricane that the sword has pinned into place and contained. It is such dense, dark cloud that it is completely indistinguishable from rock. It's a storm compressed down and hardened, and if that blade were ever to be pulled forth, it would unleash that terrible storm in an instance upon the area around it.
But thankfully it's held in place by magic, and like only a chosen one can pull it out, right?
On a natural 20, it is warded against people of extreme convictions in either direction. People who are incredibly pure of heart and people who are incredibly impure of heart could never pull this blade free. One must be completely devoid of anything to make this blade pulled forth. In terms of things that you might understand, they must be hollow in order to get this blade free.
Don't like that.
Don't like that at all.
So one must have the same convictions of a storm to be able to let loose a storm.
Yeah, a force of nature, something that...
Seriously?
Yeah, you could put it that way as well. The blade of extreme neutrality. Literally, if Mav...
It's Mav's blade.
If Mav existed in this universe, he'd pull that blade out on accident first time.
Are you sure Mav is not what is being contained by the sword?
True.
I'm going to sort of, in my ethereal form, float, swim over to get a closer feel of the artifact.
It's most certainly the blade of some angelic being, but there's something else running through the center of it at Hira. There was conflict here, and both sides are pinned in this frozen moment.
Can I touch it?
No!
As a spirit, yes, you can.
Okay, good. I will reach out and like, almost expecting pain, tap the blade.
You don't feel this in like, you don't feel it in the physical, no, you don't feel it in the spiritual fingers that you reach out, but distantly connected to your body, the you on the bench, there's that tingle of the arcane across the fingertips. There's this feeling that this is something powerful. Yeah.
Curiosity sated, she will float back away from it, and
as you start floating back towards your body, you see two guards walking down the street. One of them nudges the other, points you out, and they start walking towards you.
I will watch over myself.
One of them kneels down, looks at you, and the other one, they say something in Triton to one another, and then the one who's kneeling next to you tries to gently shake you awake.
I'll return to my body.
Waking up, he sees your eyes open or like consciousness return to you. He says in trade, do you have somewhere else you can sleep tonight?
Yeah, I'm out of here. I will throw on my hood and get out of the court.
Give me a persuasion check. They nod and they say, you do not need safety wherever you're going.
No, I can take care of myself.
Very well. And the two of them stand up and they start walking past you to patrol more.
Honestly, probably the nicest interaction I've had with guards in my lifetime.
You are obviously not from around here, which probably means you're here because you're on holiday and wealthy, so...
That's one way to
Interaction
something to assume about
roaming.
me. Roaming. I don't think she's very fussed about her self-health. I know she's probably missing a lot of hours of sleep, but I'll make my way back to the train and find a nice little corner to sleep there, or just get in the train and find a corner out of the way to sleep.
You arrive back at the train. At this point, the engineer's work is sort of dying down. But there are... Dylan's asleep, but there are still a few people that you just don't recognize. And the front of the train has been opened up. All the different metallic panels have sort of, like, blossomed apart. And you can see the, like, main vessel for where the spirit engine is. This... frankly, huge container of water that appears to be like somewhere between a goldfish bowl and just a huge glass orb, the kind of thing that like a wizard would use for divination. As you walk closer to the train, you like half bump into Axel as he's moving to like the front section of the train where you guys normally sit as a group. He sees you and says, Adhira, I didn't expect to see you again tonight.
Yeah, one of the guards asked me if I had anywhere else to sleep. I got the sense that I wasn't welcome to crash.
He leans out the train a little, looks around and says, I thought you were getting a hotel with the others.
No, I wanted to go for a walk. Gotta lot my mind.
You know you can just head back to a hotel after you've gone for a walk. He steps aside and says, what's up? Talk to me.
Persuasion check.
There is
I'd say as advantage.
There is no way he can roll high enough to convince you. But there is concern in his eyes.
The thing is, I don't know if she knows how to put her words put her thoughts properly into words. I think without thinking, she asks, have you ever done something bad? Realizes and says, sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. Do you feel like you've done something bad?
She nods. Again, not trusting her words.
He sits down on like the little train steps that run up into the carriage itself, the kind of things that are like there for you to step down from. And he pats, because it's wide enough for like two people to kind of go in side by side. It's, you know, it's not perfect, but it's enough space for you to sit beside him. And he says, when I went to war, obviously I was sold on things that weren't entirely true. Who I was going to fight against. Greedy nobles that wanted to seize power for themselves. People who were just spreading lies about, well, in some sense, me, us, EKs, the thing that we do. But on the battlefield, I saw many different faces. Seasoned soldiers, mercenaries, and just normal people. It's tough, remembering that.
She nods. Do you get the sense that talking helps? It's something is easing off of her. Not all the way, but it's helping.
But I realized unconsciously before I did consciously that something was wrong. I didn't understand at the time, but I started taking more and more opportunities that had involved miasmic having slipped through the gaps in the eastern side of the conflict, where things weren't as vicious that side. Most of the defecting groups in the Fourth House Rebellion were nearer the coast. But since then, there isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about what I did and what they looked like. So, yeah, you can say, I know what it feels like to have done something bad. So, I won't judge you. I mean, I'm in no position to judge you, Atira. Whatever it is.
I think I killed a man.
He puts an arm around you and says, it's a difficult thing to come to terms with. That we're capable of it. Your life has been difficult, Atira. I knew that before I met you, but words on some paper, the testimony of a recommendation, doesn't mean anything until you've met someone. You know it doesn't define who you are, right?
I'd want to argue, but I don't think I could argue against you. There's people out there think you're a monster. You're not.
Once upon a time, I may have been. And I still have the capacity to be it. I know that. If I wanted to. If the situation comes. Maybe I'd be a monster again.
I like it better as you.
Thanks.
The offer's still open to adopt me, you know.
I don't think I could put you through that kind of harm. Gives you a soft smile.
You don't know what more harm can come from us fighting Vulture Tyrannosaurus. I have a very skewed sense of harm.
I'm not sure the reason I have to keep going like this is a healthy one, Atira, but I'll share it all the same. You killed someone. You killed many people. But every time we go out there and we fight one of those monsters, we stand up for the people that are on this train. We save a life. We do something to change who we are now. You can be a monster in your past and be a savior, a helper, a friend today. It helps me.
Doesn't sound that bad. And with that, halfway through the sentence, her mouth splits into a yawn. She leans and the sleeplessness will finally catch up and she'll fall asleep on Axel's shoulder.
Once you're asleep, he quite easily picks you up, opens the sort of carriage door behind him with one hand, takes you through into the little like waiting area and puts his like big traveling coat over the top of you. Looks in over you for a second or two more. And like tear rolls down one side of his face and closes the door, heads outside and lights a cigarette and goes to smoke. Meanwhile, how does the rest of the party want to spend their potentially more joyful evening? You have your room to sit in. There's the shared room. You could go out into like the shared garden area if you would like. Whether you want to just relax for the evening, read something, let me know. Or head to bed early and know you've got a start in the morning.
We have a hot tub.
Dafer is
Did
straight.
you pack a bathing suit, Dafer?
I have underpants, and those will need to suffice.
Dafer. As you head outside into the space, there's like a bell to ring. There's a menu that is nailed to like this wooden wall. That if you ring the bell, they'll bring you drinks and food and the prices and things like that. Perhaps most interestingly to you, Dafer, the machinery underneath the hot tub, this like boiler container and a crystal plate that's underneath it to heat it, is all exposed because it's like newish technology, which means like it being on display is interesting to people. So as you're like getting closer to the hot tub, you can see the engineering on display on the bottom of the tub as well, Dafer.
Is it like is there any interesting takeaway from me there? Like at
You give me an Arcana check if you
I don't
want.
know, 30 second, 1 minute look over.
Yeah, give me an
Arcana check.
25. You can see that there are runes for heat regulation, because technically this thing is constantly applying heat, and so the runes are there to make sure that once it reaches a certain heat, it never goes above that, basically. And like, I think on a 25, you could get lost in this for a really long time, Dafer. There's a lot of stuff under here that is interesting to you. Yeah. I don't know if anyone else wants to head in there, but they'd probably find Dafer looking at the underside of the hot tub rather than sitting in it at present.
Like I think there's like one leg is like on the stairs leading to like the entry into the hot tub. Like the other is like on the ground, and he's like leaned over to the side so he can look at a couple of runes. Well, like he's like halfway on the way in, and he just looks like he like gets lost in one runic detail after another.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say so. One of the things I can take away from this is like conditions with runes, particularly like specific trigger conditions. So like if it's this hot, then blah blah blah, and if it's not that hot, then blah blah blah.
Yeah. Uther, you know what you're doing in the evening?
First things first, I'm gonna ask Caliban if he could translate something for me. Otherwise, I can translate it myself. It's just
It depends on
doesn't
language.
It's Triton.
Yeah, it's Triton. So I asked.
Yeah, I can translate it.
I
Caliban.
asked
Okay.
the mask guy a question. He could not find the word, so.
There's a couple of paragraphs in front of you, Caliban. It details that they made the masks based off of like a story that they tell people about the previous war and the bloodshed. The idea of this a pure animal that stalked the battlefield, essentially. And the idea was that they believed that people had been like reduced to this pure animal without realizing it. It goes on to say that after a while of wearing the masks and wandering around, he and most of the other people that wore this mask began having dreams of that mask that Uther has, kind of like drifting around in the dark, like a dog walking around. And afterwards, they found their senses had been heightened. They found that they could smell truths and lies and see better in the dark and other things like that.
Wow. Yeah, that's basically a paraphrasing of what I would be telling Uther.
Let's.
It's not a sin. It's Axel.
I think that's Atira's or Capri's theory.
So, my next question is, what the hell did they manifest then for this one? And I just tapped the mask.
I think. How much of. Okay, so. Clara did tell us about the dog.
Mm-hmm.
And. Hold on, I'm just trying to piece together everything that I have so far in my
The
mind.
dog wandered off.
I'm.
Did Clara say
I was gonna say
where
they
the dog went?
created an. They created from Axel the man. They created Axel the idea.
Entirely possible. Cosmologically possible.
Oh my.
Clara, I think, mentioned briefly that the dog had like disappeared off in a direction in the city, Uther, but it was quick and she was like, you could tell her opinion was kind of like, it's away, it's gone, and I'm not chasing a dog.
How late is it?
I'll have to ask her later.
At this point, you're like closer to like 1 in the morning, I would say, Uther.
I don't want to stay up all night. A mystery for the return trip.
So once that's translated, what do you guys want to do? Are you heading into the shared area with Dafer with the hot tub, or do you want to get some rest, or what's the move?
I will be resting.
Okay, Clara's gonna rest.
I have caused enough trouble for today.
Uther.
I would read a little and wind down, and then go to sleep.
Okay. Caliban, questions for you then.
Is Clara still awake?
I think she's
Yeah,
like.
I'll be awake for a little bit.
I'm just gonna question her more on like what I've gathered from Uther, because as far as we know, she's the only legitimate eyewitness on this reported dog.
What questions do you have,
So,
pal?
so Clara, which way did it take off in?
I indicate whatever direction it went in.
Would have been north into the city while you were in
Was
the
that-
south of
oh,
the city.
okay. Okay, so further into the city. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, for a second I thought it was going to be like a sort of fiend dog, but yeah, this is not that. But from we don't Adhira picked. I think Adhira picked this up. Picked up the fact that it was Axel related, but she didn't tell anybody else. So
Well,
we
I
don't-
think it's just that's more Capri thinking about it, or like in the main chat. Adhira's not even there, so at the moment,
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not something we know.
at the moment, it just seems to be some sort of invisible dog that can only be seen by Clara.
Well, I guess we'll just have to keep an eye out on it next time.
I mean, I'll let you know if I see it again, but
Clara, as you're sat talking to Caliban, a familiar feeling starts to grip you, that of a headache, which isn't uncommon when talking to Caliban. But it reminds you more of... it reminds you earlier of that same pain, and this time it's lesser, but you can still feel it at the back of your skull. And instead of forcing itself forward, it's like knocking and waiting for invitation.
I'm gonna quickly scan the room. Do I see the dog again?
Scanning the room, no, you don't.
I'm gonna look in Caliban's general direction. I'm about to do something really stupid, because I think it's here. If I start
What?
speaking in tongues or floating off the bed, go get Axel. And I shall permit my
alright.
mind to open to the knocking.
Give me a wisdom saving throw. Less pain this time, and the sensation having, for something that's only ever happened once before, is starting to get very familiar and organic. Caliban, from your point of view, you catch a brief flash of light from the center of Clara's irises. Clara, give me an insight check with advantage.
Ooh. 23.
Looking around the room, you see no dog. But as your eyes get back to Caliban, you see the skeletal structure underneath Caliban's body, as if it were wrought of solid gold. There's like golden bones underneath like the cheekbones and around the eyes, extending down the spinal column and into the hands. And you see at his back what appears to be the nubs of 2 wings, as if they've been ripped off, and silver, like silver angel wing nubs attached to the back of Caliban's back as he's looking at you.
Hey, you know, your family, do they have, like, seraphic heritage? Like, did anyone in your family have wings?
Give me a history check, Caliban.
That's a bit of a weird, but yeah. Like, all I know is like, yeah, I'll make the roll first. Well, I'll make the roll first, and then just say what I know, and then continue from there.
Caliban? As far as you're aware, your family was very close to angels, but has no seraphic heraldry.
All I know is that we were servants to angels, right?
So, is it possible that you were once angels and then one of your ancestors did something to get your wings clipped?
We're talking about, well, no, I don't think so.
Then I don't understand what I'm seeing.
What are you seeing?
I was gonna ask, like, what are you seeing?
Where wings used to be, like where they join. Can I touch your back?
Okay, I suppose.
I'm gonna like
And you just sort of like awkwardly just like.
Yeah, I'm gonna gently poke where like I can see them. There's 2, like one on each side. They're kind of like silvery, and you have a skeleton. Like, well, of course you have a skeleton, but you have like a different skeleton, like a gold skeleton.
Clara, as your fingers
would have picked up on an X-ray.
alight on these like silvery wing nubs, they're not exactly solid, but there's like some form of resistance, and as your fingers dip into them, all of a sudden, Clara, you're pulled into a memory that feels weird and foreign and gross, but you are a small child. You can feel the frailty of who you are, and you are sat by a window looking out at a bunch of other children out in like some big expansive grounds, one of which you recognize as like a gangly teenage Lysander, and you look down into your hands and you see this little shell necklace, and you know you have to put it on if you want to go out there. And you're suddenly pulled back into the present.
You sat inside. You watched Lysander through the window. And you couldn't go outside unless you had your shell necklace on.
What? Is something going on with you?
I think I just experienced one of your memories.
He's in your head.
Oh no.
I don't know what's happening to me.
That's...
Explain your symptoms.
What?
Let's work our way backwards.
Well,
What?
Clara,
Two times today,
Caliban,
I felt like there's a pressure in my head, like I'm gonna have a migraine, but it's not all the way there. And then when I was outside, I sort of resisted it, and that's when I saw the dog. And it just happened again. And then I saw the wings and the gold skeleton, and then one of Caliban's memories.
Clara, at this point, the focus that you have, this feeling in your eyes, is starting to ache a little. If you do not expend a hit dice here, this effect will end.
I will expend a hit dice.
Expend hit dice. The pain starts to grow, and you reach into the well of energy that your shell contains, and it mutes it a little bit. And yeah, you suddenly get the clarity back, and the effect seems to continue as you can view still these strange things about Caliban in this instance.
I'd like to try and focus, shift my clarity in Uther's direction and see what happens.
Give me an insight check with advantage.
18.
Uther, there is a part of you that you always guard. Can you give me a deception check?
Yes, I sure can.
Looking at Uther, there is... Uther's not wearing his mask right now, but as you look at him, Clara, he most certainly is. The longer you look, the longer the mask seems to get, extending down his face. And when it finally finishes and encompasses the full set of his features, you see instead the face of what appears to be an older woman envisioned in the mask itself.
Did a woman give you your mask? Or is she why you wear it?
What?
She sort of dismissively waves her hand in Caliban's direction. I gave up on the wings. I just wanted to see if it would change. And when I look at you, your mask gets longer. And there's this face that's not yours. It's like an older woman.
Uther is doing Uther is running the gambit of excuses that he can throw up. It's just that. I think you're looking a little too deep into things.
I don't need to know why. That's not important. I'm not after your secrets, but does that mean something to you?
What do you think, Uther?
My sword is not mine. I take it up out of obligation.
To an older woman?
To my mother.
Now that he's said that, can I
There's a familial
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. She looks like you, kind of. Or you look like her, I suppose.
Uther is glaring, and he very quickly slides back into just happy and smiles. Just... Thank you.
How do I turn this off?
As you think that, it's gone.
Oh,
So
I'm gonna have to
something in
ask
this
Axel
city
about
is
this in the
creeping
morning.
around, doing something to people.
Uh,
That or you are having a spontaneous power increase of some flavor.
Clara,
She just got better.
From this day forward, if you wish to, you can cast See Invisibility by expending a hit dice.
Ew.
Second, is it just See Invisibility, or is it like this special version of See Invisibility?
In the purest and basest form, it is See Invisibility. There is something more to it, but from this day forward, when you expend a hit dice, you can cast See Invisibility.
Okay.
No true sight yet.
Dafer. You sit in the hot tub, having expected the underside of everything. The stars are above you, and some part of you is like waiting for your companions. But eventually, 10 minutes go by, you realize you're gonna be here on your own. As the machine kind of bubbles softly, it is luxury to the point that as a kid growing up, not only did you never think you'd have it, you simply couldn't fantasize about it. Like, the fantasy for you would be like, the walls are 3 times the height, right? Like, the idea that you would sit in something so warm and like anxiety, it's just like it's melting away the like aches and pains and tiredness, and yet in a strange way makes you tired as well. And your arms are up and you're sort of relaxing, and if you look up, you can see the night sky above you. You can hear people in the distance laughing and having a good time. People that probably in some weird way couldn't begin to fantasize about a life other than the one that you're sitting in right now. Where does your mind wander as you sit alone in this space that is relaxing and calm? Where does your head go?
I think at the start, it's just all first like pure mindless, like having the rather anxiety-inducing situation of almost being carted off to prison for inciting insubordination against the leader of the city, and like having had suggestions like break the wall down, leave the city defenseless, throw it in his direction. That was an anxiety-inducing. Like have that all wash over him, if like the rest of the sleepless night catching up to not the sleepless night, but like just the aches of the day wash over him. Before, I think thinking back for the first time, not for the first time, but like for
tonight.
For the first time, I think since the last couple of weeks at least, since he like maybe only wrote the occasional letter back home on like how it's going and so on how they're doing, what the situation likely is, that he's just now remembering that he Caliban's mom did send me a message that she's going to send like the wagon thing.
She sent you a message that contained a shipping manifesto, and then there would have been a note that says after a conversation she'll try and get another vehicle out that way because it seems like it could be useful for your folks.
Yeah, and I just imagine how structurally how much of a change that is, and then I just put that into perspective of all I've experienced taking the time to actually do that, since it was all go, all action until now.
You think about why you're here, you think about the things that are going to be sent, you think about Yvette's message, and your mind kind of reads down that list of things. There's some comfort in this moment in knowing that you're not benefiting alone. You can sit here and you can enjoy this moment right now. There are things that are improving for your people. As you sit there and you just kind of like soak it all in and you think of home, there's not like a sense of homesickness, but there is something where like your memory is so perfect. Like when you see something, it's an image that's stored in your mind, and then it exists like forever. But when you think back of home, there's some pieces of it that like you've learned so much recently, all the new runecraft stuff and all that. There's some like streets that you don't remember so well, and like without the routine and the names and stuff, there's pieces of home that are sort of being replaced with the present over time, Dayfair. In this moment, I guess my question to Dayfair is, or the question that I would pose to Dayfair as himself is, does he feel like it's worth it to learn about this thing underneath the hot tub, to like fill your mind with knowledge and new experiences? Is it worth it to him that some of that information might replace some small part of home? At least in his memories.
There's the utility aspects of it. Like not how to build a hot tub, but for example, the entire conditional rune triggering things were mechanisms he didn't utilize that much.
Which could
those
be
aspects
used to help home in a sense, right? Like that's the
So the utilitarian aspects of it, those are useful and like more important than remembering that the third brick in the fifth row on the street from when you approach it from the northern side was actually slightly discolored. But overall, it's boiled down to that utilitarian aspect. Just the information on learning how to build a hot tub for the fun of it is not that important. It can be looked up. Remembering why I do this is more important.
For now, you convert it into a maths problem. You turn it into, yes, it's okay, because when I return, all of these things are going to make things better, and that's why I do this. It's okay to forget home a little, to help home in the end. And with that, you relax down into, not a sleep, but like a little bit of a rest, until eventually, you find yourself nodding off and you're like, well, maybe I probably shouldn't drown in the hot tub. Get your things together, dry off, and head back to the room. I think by the time you head in, Dayfair, well, that's a question actually. After that revelation, Clara, Caliban, Uther, do you all still get to sleep? Are any of you up at night thinking about what Clara did or saw, or Clara yourself?
Yeah, I'm definitely up at night thinking about everything that just happened.
Clara led in the dark.
No
Sarah,
sleep for us.
I guess same question, Uther and Caliban. Are you guys sleeping?
Yeah, definitely passed out.
Caliban just dead asleep.
Yeah.
Definitely trying to be.
Uther led there, eyes closed. As Dayfra, you come back in. Like, it looks like everyone's asleep, but you can see, like, Clara is just kind of led there, eyes open at the moment, Dayfra, as you come into the room.
Given I noticed that, I think like Dayfra's eyes are like somewhat lidded from the still like deeply relaxed experience of the hot tub.
Mm-hmm.
Approaches her bed, leans down, like puts like a hand like on the side of her frame. You good?
No.
Want to talk about it?
I don't know how much I can explain. I need to talk to Axel in the morning. I think everyone will hear either then or before then anyway.
Just know, if you need it, I have ears to listen, and I've been told there's a pretty sharp mind between those two.
I know that to be true.
So if you ever need it, just give me a call. I'm just in the bed over there.
I think, Clara, you watch Dayfra go over, lie down, and just fall asleep instantly.
Nice.
She like chuckles to herself.
Eventually, Clara and Uther, you find some sleep. The morning comes with hustle and bustle and breakfast and handing back of keys and getting back to the train, and Axel wakes you up in the morning at Hero with coffee from the coffee machine that Yvette would have left behind because she said, well, it seems like you needed it more than her.
As gracefully and as beautifully as she is sleeping, Hero wakes up.
Morning.
Oh, good morning. Thank you.
That's,
Actually, I slept well, for once.
good. I won't mention our conversation to anyone else. It's between us.
Oh, thank you. It's probably for the best.
Of course. Others should be here soon.
There's one thing I was going to talk with you about.
Of course.
Yesterday, when we were out fighting, you gave me a look.
Yeah. Something just clicked into place about Grim. He always had an interest about fighters who didn't need to use a weapon. I was confused because obviously you use your scythe, but seeing you fight yesterday, it's obvious that maybe you don't need it so much as if Grim trained you, I know what he would teach.
Sometimes it feels good to just hit things.
Yeah, it does. Alright. He kind of shakes his head off of like an old memory. Eventually the rest of you guys would arrive back in train, unless there's something the other group wanted to do like on the way in the morning, whether you wanted to pop in and buy anything or do anything.
Personally, I'm fucking legging it to
Yes.
the train.
Yeah. Okay. In which case you guys arrive.
So relaxed.
You arrive at the train. Axel would take any of the remaining funds, so I think you guys had like 600 or so gold left.
800 should be it, because
Okay.
I don't. Wait, 590, I guess, with this 10
Gotcha.
for the cigarettes or something.
Yeah, 590 takes back. So it's,
Wait, no, wait, 890. Sorry,
Yeah.
790. 200 for the night and
You're
10
good.
for the gold. I can't math.
It's all good. He just takes it back. Says, I hope you enjoyed your stay. Back on the train it is. It's a little more cramped than it was before, but we're not going to be on the train for too much longer. You okay, Clara? You seem a little rattled.
I need your help. As soon as you can possibly spare the time.
Well, we're just traveling. Go for it.
I think I'm going insane.
Any particular reason?
Well, first it was because I was seeing things that weren't there. And then it turns out that maybe I'm not seeing things that aren't there. I'm seeing things that no human being should supposed to see.
Okay. And this is a recent development, I assume.
I noticed it when we were negotiating yesterday. I saw a dog that no one else had seen. And we were all a little confused and thought maybe it was... I don't know what we thought it was. And then last night it happened again. But I didn't see a dog this time. I saw Caliban with a different skeleton and wings. And then I saw one of his memories. And then I saw Uther's mask and I saw his mother.
He frowns a little. You've never experienced anything like this before. Visions of anything. Seeing things about people that other people couldn't.
I mean, my insight to things has always been pretty good, but nothing supernatural.
You have a shell now. Whatever insight you had about people, perhaps it's simply extending beyond that.
Is this like Empress can do magic?
A little different. Andrus, it's closer to the way I change form. It's just part of me. I'm not saying that's exactly what it is. I've never heard of this ability to perceive memories or other things like that, but it's the most logical thing I can think of what's changed in your life at the moment.
Adhira pokes her head in. I heard Andres?
She stayed the night on
I'm
the
a
train.
fortune teller now, it seems.
Good. When did you pick that up?
When I saw the dog,
Oh, right. Define fortune teller.
I can see things that people wouldn't normally see, apparently including memories.
Okay, that's... Looking at it from a positive angle, this can be very, very positive and useful.
I mean, I can
That's the
think
best
of
I can give you if you want optimism.
I'm not feeling negative about it. I'm just scared.
Excellent.
Then you can just put it into perspective. You're still you, but still us. All fine.
I guess.
I felt the same way when I first started working with Terminus. It's not the same thing, but I get what you're saying.
I forget, does Adhira speak Sylvan?
She does.
I thought so. If this, I was gonna do it to Terminus in case, but like this works as well. I'm gonna whisper to Adhira in Sylvan. I could look for memories of your parents.
You see realization, then fear, and then Adhira shakes her head quickly.
It's okay. If you change your mind.
Right.
Axel heads to the front of the train and then comes back and then says, "You gonna be okay to lead us through the forest, Clara?"
If anything, I might be even better equipped to lead us through the forest now.
Nods. Says, "If you find that you're losing control of whatever this new gift is, or it's hampering you in any way, let me know. I'm by no means an expert in navigating this terrain, but safety first for all of us."
Sure. I'll keep you appraised of the situation.
And if you ever feel like you're seeing things, it's okay to ask us if we see them too.
Oh god, that's gonna get really annoying for everyone, isn't it?
Depends on if we see it or not.
If it is...
Well, so far everything's been decidedly not normal. Like the weird dog, and the skeleton that shouldn't be there, and Uther's face not being Uther's face. I'd like to think it's pretty easy to tell visions from reality.
That's fine. We'll figure it out when we get to it. I don't think it'll be too much of a problem.
If it is what I think it is, the longer you have it, the more you should be able to gain some sense of control over it. Most of it's psychological. Most of it is trusting in it.
Well, this is a different kind of faith than I'm used to, but worth a go.
You guys sit down, and the train rolls north. Axel lets you know that the tests on the engine all showed very little signs of extreme stress despite the extended period of full speed travel, and you guys averaged about like 210 miles an hour on speed here, whereas most trains are going at like 100, 110. So far, the Naiad's Dawn is clocking in to be a vast improvement to the general trains that are in use by the city at the moment.
Well, that's why they had it took apart yesterday.
Yeah, Axel nods and says, we put it through its paces, and they wanted to make sure that there wasn't any side effects beyond the evaporation from the tanks, which needed to be refilled, as it seems that the spirit engine will bleed water at these high speeds, but otherwise there's no downside, which gives us
How does the spirit feel about that?
Faster as she goes, the happier she is, it seems. She was annoyed that she had to stop, but understood that the tank needed to be topped up.
Fair enough, then.
Excellent. Do you guys want to roll for your card game?
Yes.
I think so. Depending on the card game,
Yeah.
What do we want? Like Go
Go
Fish?
Fish is-
Yeah, Go Fish would be
Big-
right. So it's sleight of hand from Atira versus intelligence at advantage from Dafer, and then Clara. Are you just playing the game straight up?
No, Clara's trying to win this the way that she wins chess by trying to intuit what people are going to do.
In which case, intelligence with advantage and insight from Clara.
Oh god.
Might be an advantage.
Dave, well, I think Atira, you're still a bit shaken from before. Perhaps you're
Yes,
not
okay.
quite as. Dafer, you know all the cards, and Clara, you find that incredibly useful. As the game
Oh dear.
winds around, Adhira, a little distracted, gets caught a couple of times, but otherwise manages to successfully cheat, but it really doesn't matter in the end because Clara has the perfect piece of information to win the game. Rolling north, the mountains that sort of loom at the barrier between Trismere and Heaven's Pillar start to come into view. Where the mountain peaks slope and there are gaps in them, the tops of some of the tallest trees of Heaven's Pillar are visible. Truly gargantuan things that don't outscale the mountains, but some of the smaller hills and lower peaks, even at distance, you can see the tops of the pine, like this evergreen sort of forest. The train pulls off into the train is damaged and needs to stop for a rescue train to come out lane, and it hisses to a stop. Axel says, we're going to need to walk from here. There's no track that goes out further beyond. Once we round the bottom of the mountain, he gestures to this peak that you're basically sat at the bottom of. As you look up, it goes up into the clouds and disappears. We'll start to enter a lighter version of the woods that Clara will be familiar with. The further we go, the denser the trees will get until eventually we reach our destination. By my mind, it should take us 2 to 3 days if we get a good pace to our destination.
I assume that does not include the somewhere between 50 and 70 extra passengers we have.
Passengers will be continuing on without us. They'll be heading up to Heaven's Pillar. They'll not come on foot with us, Stafer.
Check. Makes sense.
Axel unracks a series of backpacks and things that you guys have packed for the trek and slings his on as well. Looks at you all and says, is there anything you want to take care of before we head out? No, we're not taking the coffee machine, David.
But we could carry it.
I'd have to sacrifice my tent, and I'm not willing.
Bring you a thermos.
But it is a sacrifice I would be willing to make.
For the greater good.
He picks you up, Dafer, the only person who can, and starts to carry you off the train.
David doesn't even resist because what's the point?
just limp.
Adhira hops off the train and seeing the mountains in the distance and the split between them where you see some of the trees, despite all the constant warnings from Clara, looks at it and then looks at Clara and points and it's just
tree.
Let's say it together. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Real trees. No?
That's not a tree. That's a monster.
It's scary.
See, it's
In my
scary.
defense-
Not a tree.
I don't know what more I could have said to prepare you for it.
The train gets up to speed and very quickly disappears into the distance. And in a space of about 30 seconds or so, I think realistically all of you find yourself in the most remote, furthest away from human civilization location that you may have ever been. The day is slightly overcast. It is warm, but not unbearably so right now. It's a little before noon, and you can feel that eventually that sun will burn through the cloud cover and it will get really hot. Your path is kind of laid out before you in a decent way, Clara. There's like plains that lead up to the mountain, and it's like a straight slope up. You can't see the tree line yet, but from what Axel said, it kind of goes around the corner of the mountain a little bit. Is there anything people want to do in particular? Like, is there someone keeping an eye out, or like anything people will be looking for as you begin to walk?
I
I'm
think
just
David would
taking all
have
in.
general.
Mhm.
I think David would have general awareness of our surroundings, but I think he'd still get distracted by the amount of greenery around us, which is just like the size of the mountains of wood.
Mm-hmm. So two of you taking in the sights. Uther, Caliban?
I'm going to be keeping an eye out.
Are your eyes up at the skies, or kind of like scanning the environs around you?
I'm going to try to scan the environments around me. It looks like several other people are keeping their eye on the sky.
Yeah, in a sense, their eyes keep getting pulled up, yeah. Caliban, anything in particular as you step out the most remote place you've ever been?
Yeah, I'm just gonna glance around with Uther.
And then Clara, leading the way, survival check, or is there something in particular you want to do?
No, I'll survival it.
Okay. And perception from Uther and Caliban.
Oof.
It has rained recently, and the path that you're on, with the weight that you're carrying, your feet sort of like sink into maybe like an inch or so of mud. There's that like sucking noise with every step as you pull your feet through. What would have been a like gruelingly tiring walk, with the training that you've gone through these last few months and the change to your physiology, the strength that you have gained, it is noticeably harder, but in no way are you guys like out of breath as like the hours tick by, leading as you follow Clara. Clara, you see in the distance as you're getting further along, there's like a mountain stream that runs down from one of the peaks. It looks a little rapid, and maybe like it's not like a stream that's permanently there, but with the recent rainfall, it seems to have like formed. It's cut through the mud a little bit, and it's quite like sloshy, muddy waters that kind of bisects the path that you guys are walking along. You can see if you kind of detour to your right, it spreads out a little more, it gets a little shallower, there are places where it breaks apart and you can step over. It is more of a turn to your right-hand side. Alternatively, you can try and wade through, or, leap across or something like that. At a distance, it's hard to tell like how fast it's moving or how deep it really is, but it's got some like rapids feeling to it, right? Otherwise, the landscape around you, Clara, like, you're really close to home, and that has like a weird feeling where some of the smells to the air is familiar, but the landscape itself is like completely, it's so empty and open. There's so much visibility in every direction, and you don't see much of a life in any direction. It's not completely devoid. There are like birds flying through the sky in the distance, and occasionally you might see like mountain goats up on the further slopes up, but there's just like all this space and not much going on, Car.
It makes her a little uncomfortable, but she doesn't particularly voice anything. I'm going to go against wading through water, not because I'm concerned about the water, more because I'm concerned about how much whining we'll get if everyone has like wet socks.
Leeches.
So I will be avoiding the water.
Okay, so you kind of cut right a little bit. It takes a little longer, but eventually you guys come to the point where the stream splits out and kind of delta-ifies, where it comes out into a bunch of smaller puddles and other bits and pieces. You can see, you know, you're like jumping from shallow muddy puddle to like shallow muddy puddle. Not enough to get up past your travel boots and get inside, but still requires like a little bit of hopping to get past. Clara, Cerberus, are you keeping him like near you? Do you want him a little further out? Like, is he a little ahead, a little behind? What are you doing with him?
I'm gonna sort of let him roam within eyesight, I think. This is gonna be the first time that he's been like properly outside of the city. I do not want to deny I do not want to raise a battery farm chimera.
Mm-hmm. Give me a wisdom saving throw as Cerberus.
Where are you, Cerberus? Wisdom save. Oh, he does have.
And I did update his token in the end, so I've changed it on the map as well.
Oh, nice.
He walks up to one of these muddy puddles, gives it a sniff. You watch the bird head turn towards the polar bear head with the look of like no, and then the polar bear just like immediately just like splunges the main body into the mud and starts like wriggling around in it like mud bathy style, and then gets up and like fur dripping with this muddy water as the falcon head is just like head like,
Attaboy.
The dragon head kind of like side eyes it, but seems to be okay with this. But yeah, it then like splashes forward a little bit more, kind of excited and enjoying itself, getting a little ahead of where you are, Clara. All of a sudden, it stops though, and you watch it begin to sniff at the ground, and it starts to like follow a trail, and it goes to the left, starting to follow the stream back up, heading towards like going up the slope of the mountain a little.
I'm just gonna hold my hand up to halt everyone else, and I'm gonna, I suppose, ask mentally what is going on.
You get the impression of picking up the scent of an animal it doesn't recognize. You also get the impression that the scent is coming up through the mud, through the ground, like something underground.
We are close to home. There's a chance that I might know what he might be sniffing out, and whether it's something we should be worried about.
Give me a nature check, yeah.
Probably not.
6. I mean, the first thing that comes to your mind is like one of the grand moles, like big gilded grand mole type thing. You're a little far down the mountain for that, but it could be. Unfortunately, Clara, with you being like a little outside of home, there's the possibility that it could be something else, right? Like something you're not familiar with as well.
Cerberus, don't. You're going to annoy something.
Something like stops,
Leave
looks up, and then obediently trudges back towards you. The golden head looks back more than anything. The other two heads are like, yeah, okay. The golden head's a little bit more defiant as it looks back and like, you can see it's like, yeah, I wanted to see how that tasted, but alright.
Look, we'll get you something wild later. When I know where we are. Just don't go dashing off too soon, okay?
You guys ford this stream and start to get back more on track. Caliban, on a 16, as Clara is guiding you guys, and she's picking out like a decent route through the terrain, you notice that further up the mountain, where some of those mountain goats were seen before, there is a little bit of a like trail that's like carved into the mountain just by usage, right? Like the kind of thing where enough people have walked it, it's been padded down with footprints. But that seems to snake further up into the mountain itself. On a 16, you can see that there's like an old ruined, maybe like watchtower or something like that, that's unfortunately, if you were to like try and get there, maybe like 2 days trek like up the mountain, right? Because you'd have to do some climbing to get to the trail and then follow the trail. But there is this like old ruined watchtower that you can just about make out at the top of the mountain itself, or not the top, but further up towards the peak.
Oh boy.
Actually, give me a history check as well, Caliban.
Let's see. Oh my god.
Natural 20. I think your mother would have impressed upon a lot of like Trismerian history upon you when you were younger, having taught you the language. She would have slipped some stuff in. This northern border between Trismere and Heaven's Pillar has, for a very long time, been very open and friendly between the Trismerians and the people from Heaven's Pillar. The exchange of goods for Trismere has always been a positive thing, and they kind of sit in the middle of Zemesia, Heaven's Pillar, and the Laments Desert, right? Like, they're pretty nicely positioned for this. But way, way back, in the era of grief, Heaven's Pillar wasn't as pro, like, the Crusades going after Scourge Beasts. Like, as a nation, they were more, not isolationist, but they were more concerned about the safety of their immediate environment, whereas, like, Trismere, Zemesia, and all the other places were like, if we want to make ourselves safe, we need to take this moment now and strike out beyond our borders, find the dragons, find the other creatures of the Scourge, and deal with them before they can recover from their loss as well. And this difference of opinion led to some of the only conflict between Heaven's Pillar and Trismere. Trismerian armies kind of went into the forests of Heaven's Pillar and tried to do the job for them. They were like, no, we're going to root out the foreign elements of like the Scourge beings and other dark beasts, and we're going to kill the green dragons that make their like home in your forest and things like that. And Heaven's Pillar basically said no and killed any forces that went beyond the borders, and that sort of snowballed. This tower, to get us back, this tower that sits at the top of this mountain here is a remnant from this brief period of conflict. You recognize the architecture from being, thousands of years ago. It's still in decent repair, and some of these towers are still used by like smaller communities and stuff, Caliban. The thing that strikes you on a natural 20 is how far out from the settlement this is. Like, it's a good position for a watchtower. It's got good view of the forest. It's got good view of this big open plain. But there's no settlement in sight. So what is it watching over? That's the question. Like, for it to have this much foot traffic, what are they keeping an eye on? Is the question that, pops into your head.
Yeah. That's just going to be something I'm going to keep in the back of my mind as we're heading up.
Continue to follow Clara. Give me one more survival check for the rest of the day's travel, Clara.
Wow.
Within the next few hours, because, Clara, you, caught up and over the mountain's edge, you sort of recover some of the time lost from diverting through the river by taking a slightly more direct path. It's a little harder walking up a slope, but after the first, like, trudging through mud, you realize we're all built different now as you get up this slope. You see it before you. About 2 hours walk away is the beginnings of home. Not quite territorially speaking, not on a political map, but in terms of environment, the beginnings of these what are more like sapling trees to you, but they're like normal tree height to everyone else, the younger versions of these pillar trees. No greenery on them whatsoever. They literally look like perfect columns of wood at this distance that have begun growing up to the correct height. There's not much between you and it, except on one side you can see the remains of what may have been like an ancient quarry. It's too perfectly cut into the mountain, like slightly off to the side, for it to be natural. There's like some perfect edges to it. And you can see exposed stone. It doesn't still seem to be used. There's like maybe some buildings, Clara, but they've long kind of worn away. It's just the outsides of the buildings. And yeah, it goes pretty deep. But that's a little off from the path of like where you're heading. That's the tree line in the distance. On a natural 20, you could either camp just before you get to the trees tonight, Clara, or once you get just into the tree line. It's up to you.
I'm gonna poll the group as to what they would prefer, because I think to me, Clara, it makes no difference, but people are gonna have like a comfort one way or the other.
Can I? The density of the tree in the forest that I'm seeing would already, while the trees are normal sized to me for now, it would still be denser than most forests I'm used to, right?
Most forests you're used to, Dafer, yes.
Okay, so in terms of visibility, this would be a new, I'd say, low for me.
You'd have more cover, and then conversely, you could not see as far. Both of those things are true, yeah.
I think Dave would prefer resting somewhere where we have better sight to anything approaching. We do have our rather unique tent that allows us to hide our own visibility from most others.
So,
I'll go with David's suggestion as well.
2 votes for outside the tree line. Uther, Caliban?
Pardon?
Camping in the tree line or outside of the tree line?
What was everybody's votes already?
So far, 2 for outside of the tree line.
I think I'll go with outside of the tree line. I'm thinking about it now.
Okay. I think that seals it, but Uther?
Yeah. It sounds like it sounds like the vote's decided either way, so yeah.
Okay. Clara, the vote comes back.
Wonderful. Then we'll camp as close as we can to the tree line for now.
Alright.
Axel silently observes. Obviously, he doesn't give any input, as at this point he's fallen into more of an observer role. You guys get up to the tree line. You've still got some light at this point because of the decision. You know, you don't have to go any further. The trees themselves are like all perfect, almost identical versions of one another in this juvenile state. A few of them have little fungal growths in some areas where water has been able to pool in little recesses and things like that. That makes them a little different looking, but they're more the same than they are different up close to them. Putting down the Taliesin thread tent, Dafer?
Yep, that and preparing like dinner.
Okay. Start to set up a little campfire and other things. Is there anything people want to do as camp is established?
I will ask Clara to help me heal. With the healer's kit. And she'll say, I think I took a nasty hit from that horn a few days ago, and it's still bothering me. Hoping you could have a look at it.
That's... Well, I was going to say my job. That's one of my many jobs. Where it is. So it is 9 plus... What are we at? 5? So
14.
14.
Clara,
Yeah,
Tyr.
I think whatever I roll, I'm going to be max health.
Okay. You get a little patched up Tyr from the kit. And you get an extra D8 on top of that for the hit dice as well, because Dafer's cooking food. Is there... So, Clara helps Tyr get patched up, Dafer's cooking. Anyone else got anything they want to do that evening as things settle into going dark?
Nope.
Alright. Are you guys keeping watches tonight?
Yes.
Who's doing what watch? Who's taking first watch?
I'll take second.
Tyr wants second.
I guess I'll take third.
Caliban's got the morning shift. Who wants first watch then?
I'll do it.
Uther? Okay. Everyone else settles down into the tent. Taliesin thread keeping you unseen from the outside looking in, but from the inside looking out, you've got a decent view outwards towards the plains and the mountain. To your back, Uther, is the forest. That you've got like this weird mix of like great sight lines at some angles, and then on other angles you really can't.
Invisible on the other.
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes you can see pretty deep into the forest, and sometimes it's just a wall of tree in your way. Where would your focus be?
Kind of just alternating, honestly.
Yeah, okay. In which case, just give me a perception check.
I think I'll use the mask a little bit too, just to
Give me a perception check with
see if
advantage.
there's advantage.
20. You don't see anything, but you smell the scent of something confusing from the tree line. You've like held cats and other creatures like that before, and you know the smell of like fur. But there's something else mixed with the fur smell coming from the tree line. There's like something weirdly clinical in scent, and then there's also something sweet like a polleny smell as well. You never see anything, but there's some sort of animal in the tree line not far away, probably unaware that you're there, right, because of the Taliesin thread, but you know, maybe going about its life in the tree line.
I'll make note of that and make sure, kind of just keep making sure it doesn't get any closer.
Yeah, sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You get the feeling, you know, it's going about its life in the forest, basically, which occasionally brings it closer, but it itself isn't interested in you, Uther. That's all you seem to be able to pick up on your watch, Uther. I think it was Adhira that said she wanted the second.
Yes.
Uther waking Adhira.
Yeah, I'll wake her up. Let her know about the thing in the woods, but let her know that I don't think it's coming for us, so.
I squint at the wood line. How far away is it?
Clara said she wanted to get as close as she could, so you're like up against it.
Neat. I know what I'm gonna be doing.
Yeah. What do you want to do, Adhira?
Gonna wait for Uther to go to sleep, and then I'm going to knock myself out and investigate with my spirit form.
Give me whatever check you want to make here. Perception, investigation, survival, whichever one, speaks to you in this moment here. As a spirit, these woods, these juvenile trees that are much the same are most certainly not. Each of these trees has a pattern that dances across the bark that is much like a fingerprint, Adhira. These highlighted waves of color as it takes, energy from the world and turns it into nature and gives off air and other things, this pulse and thrum of existence. As a spirit, you can see it. The circle of life, if you were. Exploring the tree line a little, you come across all manner of small rodents, birds that are like part bird, part bat. There's no real branches on these young trees, but they're perfectly good for scaling and other things like that. So there are like birds that cling to the tree and then swoop down and bite at insects. There's a whole world of life and fauna here within the forest that is completely alien and mystical to you. Picking out any one thing would be difficult for you, Adhira, as you're going through. And obviously you can't really smell anything, so you're not sure what, if any of this, was the thing that Uther detected, but the forest is alive with things, that's for sure.
I'll watch him for a bit. Kind of see how much like the lights of the city, all the little interactions that go on, before going back and floating over the camp, keeping watch that way.
You do notice, in the distance at the top of the mountain, occasionally the lights of fires. There's some sort of human encampment up that mountain, Adhira. You're pretty sure of that, but days and days away. It's just that there's such an open sightline from where you are that it's plain to see from here. Other than that, nothing else happens.
Do we have a fire going of our own?
You would have done before when there was light out, but not anymore. It would have been put out before you guys went to bed.
Okay. So I got a bad vibe about it.
Yeah, just in case they could, if you can see them, they can see you. But yeah, no light at the moment, Adhira. Caliban, I think, wanted the last watch. Adhira waking Caliban.
Yes. There's something in the tree line. Uther says I don't see anything or hear anything, but maybe you'll see differently.
Hopefully. I'll, if she's gonna like get her Z's in, then I'll take a perception check.
Yeah, give me a perception check, please, Caliban.
Wow.
As you sit there and the sun is beginning to peak up and, it's starting to cast across the landscape, all the stuff that's kind of happened these last couple of months, the report that you got from Richard, the image of you that Clara told you about Caliban, the matron under the church who spoke of siblings that you passed off as being a completely normal thing, but you're an only child, and all these old memories of a sickly young you, and the fact that you have had a shell for as long as you can really remember. How does it all sit with you, Caliban, as you sit there and think about it that night on watch?
As far as I can tell, Caliban sees himself as very, I guess, exceptional, but he's not sure how much of a good thing it is, or whether it's bad.
You've always been exceptional. The question now is, why? And is it a good thing? Yeah. As you think about it, as you wonder about it, who is it that comes to your mind that is the person with the answer? Who do you think of as you sit there at night? Like, who do you think knows the truth?
Like, as into his own
to
exceptional nature.
To the truth of yourself, yeah, in a sense, right? Like,
I can't think of a single person, but I would just say the Azalea Foundation.
okay. And when you think of them, do you think of them as something to blame or something to thank? Or is that the question that kind of plays in your mind right now?
At the very least, he just wants the truth of the matter. Okay. And whether it ends up being a good or a bad thing is up to the rest of the world, he thinks.
The sun rises. Caliban, you noticed the lights, same as Adhira in the distance, but you saw the tower before.
Mm-hmm.
There are people living up there, and there's a question about what that is, but that wasn't as important to you tonight as the question as to who you are. Your watch ends, nothing approaches the tent. It is a normal morning, and ahead of you lies a forest of strange, identical, tall, and yet somehow juvenile trees. Axel wakes up, begins packing up his stuff. What do you guys want to do?
Start packing.
Lament the loss of the most important machine in this expedition.
Yeah, just give me one roll and tell me who gets the temp HP. Is that 5 for everyone?
That's 5 for the entire party plus Axel. I think not including Cerberus. I think I'll include him the next time.
Okay. So everyone has
I only can
5
cover
temp
6
HP
people.
apart from Cerberus.
Well,
You
I
just-
still have mine, so I'm gonna
Oh,
Just
feed
hand-
the bear.
yeah, that works. That works too. Yeah. Yeah. watches seem to have gone off without a problem. I don't know if anyone would mention anything to anyone. Otherwise, the only thing ahead of you guys is to head off into the woods.
Uther, I didn't see anything.
Well, I smelled it, so.
I didn't even... Talking about smell.
Smells what?
Cat thing.
A cat thing?
Cat thing. I will hand her the mask.
You hold
It
in
is
your
not an attunable item. It is not an attunable item. She can just use that.
You hold in your hands, Clara, a black dog mask.
I'll put it on.
Give me a perception check with advantage.
Oh. Perception. 17.
Clara, you smell an Araf. Maybe two with young, like, I'm gonna use the word pups, that's probably not correct.
No, I guess it's as good a word as any. Uther, before I tell you what this is, how much of a concern were you rating this thing?
It was kind of the biggest thing that caught my attention, but not necessarily something I was losing sleep over.
Good. A couple of points of note. Things plural, like a family. These are Araf. They're like lizard cats? Well, lizard insect cats.
Eh? That
This would be so much easier to
No.
explain if I could either show you one, or if they'd have let me ship one to the academy like I wanted.
does it still count as an explanation when you just show it?
Well,
If we get close to one, point it out.
I think you'll probably know what I'm talking about if you were to ever see one. There's not many things that I think a lizard cat insect could reasonably apply to. This is like the only one.
Fair enough.
They're great though, super cute. Well, they also have this like weird time dilation thing, but that's a whole different issue.
What?
Well, okay, so my people named them Araf because it's the word in our language for slow. They're kind of just like docile herbivores. They don't really have any threat to anything. So the way they keep themselves safe is by... They don't actually change time, they just change the way that time is perceived. They're kind of like... Imagine everything else is moving in slow motion, but you're still moving normally. And so they use the extra time to escape, because everything else thinks they're going slower.
Talking as you
Insect cat.
like pack things up and get things ready and start heading towards the woods. Clara, what's your priority? Is it like getting to the destination as quickly as possible, or getting there as safely as possible, or are you like somewhere in the middle, like you sort of want to make a balance?
Yeah.
Rat hunting.
I would try... yeah, new third priority unlocked.
New objective.
I think I would try and like balance speed and efficiency.
Okay. I think just a survival check is normal at this point then.
Yeah, a lot of use out of my survival proficiency.
Today, yeah. You guys cross through the tree line and into the woods. Everyone other than Clara, please give me a wisdom saving throw. Uther, do
No.
so. Uther, do so with advantage.
Oh,
Nailed it.
What's this bullshit, man?
Everyone crosses over the threshold, walks in. Adhira, as you do so, you feel a shiver down your spine and the feeling of being watched. Every time you look down one of these really long lines of trees, the shift in direction from where you feel like you're feeling watched from goes down another one of these lines of these trees. You know, like that optical illusion where there's a bunch of dots, and if you look at them, they disappear and new dots pop up somewhere else in your vision? It's kind of like that. Everywhere you look is not the direction you're being watched from, and everywhere else is. But the rest of your party seems to just walk ahead, unplussed.
Her voice calls up from the back. Is anyone else getting really off vibes?
I mean, what's the
my hardest not to take that personally.
was the wisdom save something we just did passively without noticing, or did we actually notice?
Having succeeded, you feel nothing. It's only a tear at this moment.
Know what you're talking about? It's like just, I mean, the amount of cover potential enemies have isn't great, but fine.
I feel like something's watching me.
I mean, there's about a...
The trees have eyes.
The trees are weird, man.
Adhira, saying that, give me a wisdom saving throw.
I swear I saw a paper somewhere about trees and their perception, but didn't read it.
You might have missed the forest for the trees.
With no one else but Adhira feeling it, you will trudge on, and Adhira, you must continue. Clara, something.
You know what? I can set a forest fire if I want to.
Clara, something does. Oh yeah, Ethan.
Where is it here in the line?
It's back, I think.
Back, very back.
I'm going to just slide back a little bit and try to catch up with her, and every once in a while I'll like do a perception or something to see if
Just keeping an eye
there
on her.
is something. Yeah, keeping an eye on her. See if there's actually something back there, or she's just losing it because of trees.
Okay.
Pre-madness, if you will.
You guys get about an hour in, and Clara, you notice a shift in the weather. There are clouds coming over the mountain top that are a bit thicker and darker, and it's starting to get to the point where it looks like it's going to have like a pretty heavy downpour, as like mountains are trying to get up over the mountain, so therefore they need to drop rain to get properly over. So yeah, it looks like it's like about to start tipping it down where you are, Clara, and the darker it gets, the heavier the rain's going to be.
Oh, God. I'm gonna look around for something that might make appropriate shelter. Because we have, like, tree cover that's not really good enough in pouring rain.
Yeah, give me a perception check. I'd say with advantage. You've got home terrain advantage here, Clara. 9?
It didn't matter.
At a diagonal, there isn't like a perfect line of sight, but you can see one of these trees was hit by lightning in a much earlier, more vulnerable state, Clara, and that lightning has kind of split this obviously now dead tree, leaving a hollow space that's kind of like a natural, almost like a natural teepee kind of like formation. It's got cracks in it, rain will still drip through, but it is, you know, better than standing out in the open in a sense, Clara.
Well, we're gonna have to get out this rain. There's a tree over there we can use. Maybe if we string up the tent, it'll keep the worst of the weather off. And it will also stop anything... Sorry, it'll stop the trees from coming to get us.
Adhira scowls and throws up the hood of her shell.
As you begin to move towards the tree that Clara picked out, the rain begins to fall. They come down golf ball sized droplets of rain that hit any fabric you're wearing with like that heavy smack. And each raindrop hits one of these trees, and like the noise that it makes sometimes is kind of like when you throw a rock at an ice sheet. It's got that sort of like weirdly high-pitched sound as it deflects off of the hard bark, these big solid raindrops. You make it to the tree itself. Everyone heading inside, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
You run inside the hollow of this tree. Nature has found its way in here as you get inside. All up the inside of the deceased tree's remains is like moss and small insects, and there's like an ant colony that has billowed up a section of the underroot and looks like it's, you know, excavated down into what were the once living roots of this tree, and there are insects kind of crawling back inside, especially as the rain has begun to hammer down around you. And you guys are trying to like shore up some of the openings with fabric from what the Taliesin thread tent, or just like other tent material you've got, or
Yeah, that's my suggestion, that we just like, instead of, I suppose, pinning it down the way we would a tent, we basically just use it as like a tarpaulin.
okay. Who wants? So I think it would take like 2 or 3 people to do that. Who wants to work together to get the tarpaulin up?
I think Dave would.
Dafer?
Yeah.
And 2 other people, or one or 2 other people.
I'll help for now. It'll give me something to distract from the feeling of being watched.
Dafer, Atira, anyone
I
else?
suppose I'll help.
Caliban as well. Clara and Uther, give me perception checks.
Cara's been rolling crazy.
I've finally got the home turf advantage, and it's all of my like good skills: animal handling, survival, perception, insight.
Clara, Uther. Uther, you notice in the distance there's like a rush of wildlife. As this sudden downpour hits, there's all kinds of animals making their way through the forest at more rapidity. You see, you know, stags, like big, tall, elk-like animals, and some stuff that, you know, more normal animals you might have heard of. Occasionally, you see stranger, more esoteric animals. In fact, you see a wild greed serpent winding its way through the treetops above everything, never touching the ground because all the trees are perfectly spaced for it to, like, snake its way along the upper boughs of all these trees to try and find a place to hide away. Clara, on a 24... all of that's expected to you. You expect the rush of animals. It's the inside of this tree that catches your attention. As you're looking up at the others shoring up with all the tarpaulin, you can see that the inside of the tree is all underneath the moss, carved with symbols that at first you're like, there's rune carvings inside this tree. But they're not runes you recognize. It feels more religious to you. Like, there's no arcane feeling from it. It's like someone came and marked up the inside of this tree with almost like a scripture. But at the same time, you don't recognize it.
I'm gonna point this out to the rune experts in the hopes that... Well, actually, I'll just point this out to everyone, because between us we speak a ridiculous amount of languages and scriptures, and we have rune experts.
Hey DM, is this Sylvan?
It is not Sylvan, otherwise I would have just told Clara what it said. Is there any other esoteric languages that people have on them?
I have Draconic.
Draconic?
I have Lamshi.
Lamshi, not quite esoteric, but I get you.
I have Old
Like-
Zemestian as well.
Old Zenestia,
Generic and primordial.
Proneric and Primordial. Anyone else got anything strange? It's Caliban. Do you have one of the strange ones as well?
I'm afraid I've
Yes,
just got
Arthur.
High Zemestian and Triton.
Triton. Okay.
Oh.
And Uther,
I
you've.
feel like I've been shorted on languages.
I think Uther, you've got Coptic and Trade, right? Is that the?
Oh wait, I forgot a language.
I could say
I
you should have
actually do
one.
have one. Giant.
Giant. Uther, it is you
Yes.
that can read the inside of this tree.
Eee.
The
What do you
symbols.
mean?
The symbols inside are like runes because the ancient giant folk used runes as their first language script and diverted away from it because they didn't want to have to deal with the fact their books would light on fire randomly because someone wanted to talk about the campfire that they had last night.
So you're not gonna believe this, guys.
Skimming over Uther, because the entire inside, all the way up the inside of what's split in this trunk, is covered in language, and it is not written in columns or left to right, but swirls and following the natural grain of the tree in all sorts of different directions. But from what you understand, in part, this language is a funeral elegy for this tree and the loss of what it would become eventually. A sort of lamenting of the death of the tree you're now stood in. Another portion of the scripture inside of this tree is an invitation to the natural world to come and cannibalize it, in a sense, to return it to a space where yet another of these trees can grow. The final bit of the scripture is entreating the spirit that embodies or otherwise, the translation isn't correct, but it's spirit that owns this place to essentially see this as a safe place for all, a place that their power doesn't reach.
I'm sorry, so funeral lament for the tree.
Funeral for the tree.
Inviting nature to reclaim it.
Yeah.
But also marking it as a safe place?
From the spirit that otherwise inhabits this land. Neutral territory is probably the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Uther's kind of rattling that off, and then at that last part, stops and slows down and blinks. Well, that part's a little odd. Does it elaborate further on if it just means all spirits or a particular spirit?
I would say, reading it, the first pass you get, it's very specific. It speaks about a singular spirit, and it talks about it as if you're stood in a noble's territory, in a sense, right? it's this spirit's land.
The spirit. Okay.
Yes, the.
Okay. Clara, what do you know about regional spirits? I know we're a little off from your purview, but
What do I know?
Give me a history check with advantage, Clara.
Sure. 19.
19. More into Heaven's Pillar, you have what you call the Fair Folk. They don't so much have individuals amongst themselves that might own a space like an area of forest. they tend to live like in communes. The idea of fairy circles and things like that, Clara, is definitely. But the idea of like one spirit that like has some sort of overarching dominion isn't something that's common. I guess, Clara, it's sort of like something you could have maybe heard of, but it's not normal.
I fear this may be more of like a giant specific thing. They could just be attributing the work of the fair folk as one spirit instead of, I suppose, like a colony of individuals. But I kind of don't get that impression from the way that you're talking about it.
The way I'm reading this, it reads very specifically as a spirit of this area. I would almost say the spirit of this area.
It's just fledgling trees.
What exactly do they say about the spirit? The writing.
You could continue to read on. The rain is falling, so you're kind of stuck here, Uther.
Yeah, I'm just gonna like pull out my knife, get some good light going, and just start. I'm gonna even go as far as like pull out my notebook, and I'm just gonna start writing down what I'm reading.
Yeah, give me an investigation check.
Just don't speak it out loud.
Lightning bolt!
He'd never hit the same spot twice.
May Zeus himself strike me down.
Magus Dumpus.
22. The language around the description of the spirit is something of contradictions, birth, death, protection, challenge, trials, reward, youth, adulthood. It's like the sort of like language that's kind of around this spirit. No specific thing is stated like, oh, this is the spirit of tripping over a tree branch. Like, there's no like specific thing that's labeled down, but the things that are talked about are all in this sort of like weird opposing circles.
Is this protection against life itself? What?
It's like
I'm kind of reading it like change.
Looking over Uther's shoulder, do I make out the earlier interpretations of protection from...
like the life-death thing?
Of, like, this space is sacred, like, it's free from their power, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Do I still have the feeling of being watched in here?
Give me an insight check, here.
Outside the door.
You stop and you think about it, and then something else distracts you. It's not like when he's in a dimensional anchor box or something like that, but Terminus's abilities are not reaching you in this space, Atira.
I'm gonna throw on my hood and step outside real quick.
Connection restored.
Still feeling watched?
Yes.
Step back in. This is
You're
a
alone
dimensional
again.
anchor. This is very similar to a dimensional anchor.
Axel pulls out his like crystal lighter and it like flicks on.
I said somewhat similar.
I'm going to reiterate that I think this is like specifically keeping something out.
I can't feel terminal.
Wise. Well, does anyone else have a spirit they're hiding, so we can confirm if this is just a generalized spirit ward or if it is specifically something that would be adjacent to Terminus, then.
Well, from what you've said, growing old is kind of like rotting, youth and adulthood. I don't know what the reward would be, but dealing with anything rotting is kind of a trial. You're on like a limit. Although I don't know why they would perceive them to be part of this area in particular, so I'm kind of leaning away from that.
Well, this is new growth forest, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, but then I wouldn't necessarily jump from that to please protect it from rotting.
It'd be
I
opposite.
am confused. I'm confused because
Mhm.
this tree is. They are specifically asking for nature to reclaim this tree.
Yeah.
All the other trees in the area are quote unquote small. But there is some kind of what is different about the spirit that they're keeping out that would they want nature to claim this tree but not that spirit?
Eventually the rain starts to patter down to like more of a shower. It doesn't stop, but the cloud has lifted up enough to start to get over the mountain itself. The ground again is a little stodgy outside, but you're free to leave whenever you want, really.
I have one more question.
Yeah.
Why giant? Were there giants here? Are there giants here?
Uther, history check.
Can I aid him with that?
Yeah,
With my perfect memory.
sure. Advantage, Uther.
I'll take it. Shit, yeah.
12.
Oh, I needed it. Jeez.
Uther, as far as you're aware, all giants are dead, gone. They did not survive the goddess leaving. Mostly, they were so beloved of the goddess and so linked to crafting and her ideals that the sorrow, according to the stories, killed them all. They died of heartbreak when she was gone. That said, lots and lots of people still look up to the craft work of the giants, still follow many of their practices. So the language is still around. It's not like even a dead language. People still know how it's spoken.
Yeah, as shown.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get a feel for how old the carvings are?
I think Clara would have a better idea on that one for like how long ago this tree might have died or something. If Clara wanted to give me a nature check, she could certainly.
I will give it a go. 19.
19? Not years, months maybe, Clara? You'd say months ago?
There you go. Months ago.
This is odd. I'm just gonna snap my notebook shut. I guess we should be on the lookout for other places that have been warded.
Continuing on, or
We'll keep
staying
an eye
on?
out. We'll be fine. We'll continue on, Clara, no?
I assume.
Clara?
Sorry, what was the question?
We'll continue on, right? Or do we
We'll
rest
stay
here?
in this tree forever. We have a job to do.
Heading out, there's the smell of fresh rain kind of permeating through the forested area. Some of the root work has been exposed by the rain moving around the soil, which makes moving a little more difficult, trying not to trip over anything. Continue to wind your way through. Atira, give me a wisdom saving throw.
I almost would have failed it. Ask and you shall receive.
You asked.
As you
It's not like you passed the other two.
As you pass by the trees with the group, there's these like exposed underroot areas, right, Atira, kind of at like ground level by your feet, where you can see that it kind of gets down into the roots, almost like where those ants were burrowed in the root in the tree you stayed in. And occasionally, as you walk by, you see pairs of eyes underneath these little tree growths, and when you look again, there's nothing. And there's always these two almost like light reflective eyes as the daylight hits them. They've got that pearlescent sheen to them, watching you, Atira.
I'm better with this. I'm going to break from the group to the nearest hole, kneel down, run my hands through the grass and moist dirt before resting it on one of the roots and asking in Sylvan, "What is your name?" And just kind of opening the connection.
Maybe it's an echo, but from underneath the tree, your voice comes. What is your name?
I am Adhira. I carry rot.
I am Atira. You carry rot.
Ooh.
I think she is now very unsettled. She will get up and start to rejoin the group.
You rejoin the group. Clara, how are you taking things now? Has this set you on edge, or are you just steady pace, get to the destination? What's the...
Yeah, I think she trusts everyone else to have their eyes out. She is definitely just focused on what is the most efficient way I can get us to where we're going. Because we've been dealing with some weird shit on our way.
Give me a survival check with advantage. You're focusing on that. Everyone else, you're like, you're looking out for everything else. I'm going to find us a path through this. Natural 12.
You say that with, like, the energy of, like, of course, it has to be.
The trees only get taller from here. Greenery starts to appear above your heads. Shade. Dappled protection from all of a sudden intense heat that is already drying up. The rain that fell, the mud starting to bake, it cracks underfoot, and sometimes when you step, your heel presses, and it goes down an inch into this soil that is losing structure. Losing structure. Clara, you stop just before your foot falls. And something tells you that your next step, your foot would sink more than an inch. You see in front of you, all of a sudden, there is a clearing that wasn't there the moment before you were about to put your foot down. There's a circle of trees and an open space, and it looks like this cracked dirt. But something inside you, Clara, something from your home tells you danger. This is like the covering for a pit, a descent.
I am going to spend one of my hit die and cast the see invisibility I have.
The floor before you is an illusion. There is indeed a deep hole here that goes down. A not perfectly circular hole, but more like a crevice that's been opened up by maybe just like general tectonics, or maybe it heads down deeper into a cave or something, Clara. As you look through and peer down into the dark, you see something that was there waiting shift away and flee into the darkness, realizing that it can be perceived.
Well, good news. We just narrowly avoided an ambush. Bad news. Something is trying to ambush us.
Lovely.
It
I mean,
talked to me
it's-
in my own voice.
Horrifying.
That is concerning, but I wouldn't be worried about it specifically ambushing us. I think this is a stationary trap, but I feel like this was just set up here for in general.
Clara, as you look back at what Dave was gesturing to, normal forest, no trap, normal arrangement of trees, no clearing.
I wouldn't be so sure. It came out of nowhere.
So we can't move forward in that direction, right? Since that's the trap.
Yeah, Clara, as far as you can see,
If I
it's
can't
safe.
see this.
Yeah, I can say, Clara, as far as you see now, it's safe.
I think whatever it is was scared off by us not falling for it. I can't see anything there anymore.
Any more?
I'm using the weird vision thing. I'm practicing. Sure, let's put it that way. I'm also desperately trying not to look at any of you so I don't radically invade your privacy.
Okay, so I'll need to adapt to things just randomly change around here or something.
I don't know. I can probably concentrate on this for a little while. I think this thing would be stupid to return that quickly. It'll probably go and try and find something else.
I think I'll just trust you on that one, and we'll see. We'll be fine, I think. And next time when we have fairies in during our lessons, I'll be sure to nail our instructors. When is that, or well, whatever kind of creature is here? When is that on the lesson plan, Axel?
Who?
Was that you legitimately asking, or was that Axel acting like he's not there?
You turn around, he's not there.
Oh, they're all fuck.
He was
Why
traveling
didn't
with
you
us
just-
before, right?
Thinking about it, yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
I specifically checked if he was with us at the tree, and I assume like, he specifically was. He had the lighter out.
You're right. We still remember his name, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are you?
Yo, this old guy keeps following us.
As the group of you stand there and think about, do I know who Axel is and where is he? Time has moved past and it is getting dark, and you are still deep in the heart of this forest at the moment. What do you want to do?
I am not liking.
Go on.
You first.
No, you say your thing.
Oh I am not liking the malleable nature of this. Okay. Uther, do you still have your mask?
Yeah.
Can you smell Axel?
Thinking what I was thinking. And yeah, I'm going to stay within range of the group, but I am going to try to like backtrack just a pinch and see if I can catch any hint of Axel.
Give me a perception check with advantage.
$19.
2 scent trails, Uther. Both of them continue onward in the direction that Clara was leading you. One of them peels left, the other one peels right.
That don't. Two trails near the pit. They each split around it.
Do you still have that? Okay, we can try to isolate things. You mentioned a rune to me at one point that is capable of revealing recently walked tracks.
Yep, 1 second. Let me get the paint. He starts digging through his bag.
Kneeling down, using the paint rune on the ground, the tracks that lead to the right, the smell that leads to the right, is the only one with footprints.
Well,
How far along does that scent trail to the wrong direction lead?
I mean, you'd have to follow it, right, Dafra?
yeah, I don't know, and I am not inclined to find out.
It's just gonna try and trick you.
Just out of curiosity, mind if I just shoot in that direction some compressed air and see if that rouses anything? Hearing no against words.
I can't stop you.
I point in the direction of the smell and just fire a compressed air blast for 60 foot.
It, wafts the smell around a little. Some of, the detritus on the ground rustles around. Nothing strange happens, Dafra. No random reaction or anything popping out.
Okay. Okay, so whatever this is would have worked differently. Well, following the footpath sounds reasonable.
Look,
Any other ideas?
The bearer of bad news here, but there are 2 problems. One is that Axel doesn't know where he's going, and we don't know where he's going, so we could end up more lost than we currently are. I know these forests, but I don't know them inside out. The longer we spend in here, the more chance I have of getting us lost. And if I get us lost, then we've got no hope. So, I'm going to do the thing that I don't want to do, but that Axel would probably tell us to do. We need to get to the settlement and come back for him. Our objective is not to find our lost teacher in the forest. He's plenty strong enough, he'll survive whatever's out here for long enough until we can go and get help. But if we all get lost in here, no one's going to come and save us.
Do you know roughly how close we are to said settlement?
We've been walking for about an hour since I last checked. It's probably half an hour if we rush.
Oh, that sounds reasonable to me.
Rushing sounds good. We'll come back for him.
It's going to get dark, and we won't be any use stumbling around here blind.
Should have tinkered a bit with lights. Oh well.
Alright. Clara, picking the direction that you think's to the settlement and heading that way?
Yep.
Give me one last survival check.
25. I'm holding up.
Steeling yourself and heading on, not going left or right, but instead heading straight through. You keep on pushing. The darkness is growing in a preternaturally fast rate. Like, the sun has gone down quicker than it should have, Clara. You should have 4 or 5 hours of daylight left. That is not the case. By the time you get another 20 minutes through the forest, you've got the last 10 minutes to go. It is pitch black. It is only the fact that you know how these trees are lined up that lets you not, like, drift off and start, you know, curving either to the left or the right, just like Axel did. There is, as you keep going forward, you get just outside the forest. You get through the tree line. And Clara, you see that there is a, what they call a ranger's cabin. Just on the outside of the tree line. It's like a little log cabin that people who are working in the forested areas go to if the weather gets bad, or if they need to be out in the wilderness for like a few days or something like that. Looking out beyond, it's just pitch blackness, right? It's like night, there are stars above you, there's no moonlight tonight, and you can't see the settlement. You're pretty confident, like, it's another 10-20 minutes out of the tree line and onwards, you know, according to the maps that you looked at. What do you want to do?
So we're going to have to take a vote, and we're going to have to take a vote quick. This is the ranger's cabin. It should be here. By all rights, this is completely realistic, and it's something that makes sense to be here. The settlement should be another 10 minutes, but we can't see in this darkness. We need to make a call whether we stay here, or we just try and push on the last tiny bit.
Ed here is paranoid. I'm going to run up and kick the side of the cabin.
You stub your toe.
It's real.
Well, I know it's
Clara.
real.
How dangerous are your woods at night typically? And how useful, given we've already encountered illusions, is sight during the day? All things encompassed.
What we're facing is something I've not experienced before. This isn't tricks of the Fey folk playing little funny games and leading kids into mud for fun. This is something visceral, and this is not part of my home, not that I know. I'm out of my depth with that. And the fact that we should have 4 hours of daylight left and there's nothing.
Then I'd say we maximize our chances. We're at an disadvantage in the dark. We try to outweight for a situation where we have better odds.
All right. Into the cabin.
Who wants to open the cabin door and head inside?
I'll go in first.
Sure. You open the cabin door, step in. Everyone else follow?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. And that's where we'll leave our session off.
What do I feel? Like it... Okay.
Caliban, if there's something you want to do before I end the session, you certainly can.
I was gonna say, what do I feel like instinctually?
Give me an insight check.
Well, instinctively.
How
Just
rancid are the vibes?
one more check for the road. How bad are the vibes? Oh wow!
Caliban, since you were a very small child, longer than you can remember, you have been taken into rooms, prodded with needles, asked questions, given shells, asked to perform tests and do tasks, all while someone watched and recorded things down and judged you. As you look at your friends heading into this cabin and as you're setting off to follow, you couldn't feel more familiar with what's going on right now.
There we go.
See, I
Mhm.
was also about to ask a question because I was wanting to Arcana the cabin, see if the cabin was a cabin or if
Yeah.
the cabin was something else.
You can Arcana me the cabin as well.
I think like Mhm. I think like for the last part of this before the session ends, Caliban is just gonna draw his sword
Mm-hmm.
before following after them.
17, Uther. It's a regular dimensional, like in terms of dimensions, it's a normal looking cabin. The door's open. You can see a little bit of the inside. It's dark, but you can like with the like black and white vision that you have in the dark, you can make out some features in there. There's no rune work or anything on the cabin itself. Seems fine to you. I think as you head inside, Uther, some part of your head says, maybe I would have preferred it if there was rune work on the cabin as you head in. But other than that,
Oh, it's a perfectly normal unsecured cabin. Oh no, it's a perfectly normal unsecured cabin.
Terminus has said nothing so far.
Terminus has said not a thing.
I have to go in there and get him to speak.
But we'll leave it off there and we'll pick up next time on Halloween.
Do we do wild trials?
Oh, okay. I see what's going on now, you fucker.
Cabin in the woods.